Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is the year 2024 on the ancient moon calendar. It's 2024 on the ancient sun calendar and 2024 on the Greco-Roman calendar. And it's actually 2025 on the ancient moon calendar and 2024 on the ancient sun calendar. Today is the new year. It is March 21st. And we are celebrating with dinner together. And I'm very excited about that because we don't get to have dinner together very often because we're so busy governing and demonstrating and studying and producing and conquering and doing all the amazing things that we all do to further our great empire. And so today we're just going to take it easy and breathe and enjoy each other's company and have a meal together and just talk. We have so much that we could talk about, so much that we could talk about. So we won't do the regular introduction that we normally do because we are discussing things. However, we will open the meeting so that we can all get together and just talk. So the first thing that we will just to state, happy New Year to all. We also want to say Happy New Year to our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters who are also celebrating. Some of them are also celebrating the New Year with us this year. We're so grateful for not only your presence, but your energy on the land. We're grateful for you. We are one, and we will always be one. So the Moorish National Republic federal government welcomes you. This Congress welcomes you. We love you. We also will to state that it is Happy New Year even to our Christian brothers and sisters and those who feel that they are Christians, those who know that they're Christians in their minds and hearts. I have brothers and sisters that came from the same Stargate who profess Christianity. We love them, and all that we do, we're doing for all. We also will to state Happy New Year to our subjects, the citizens and subjects on the land, the protege Moors on the land. Our heart is with our protege Moors for certain. It's with everyone, but the protege Moors in particular, because they are those who still proclaim proudly that they are Negro, Black, colored, or African American, when we know they actually have a bloodline and a birthright and a nationality and an inheritance to claim. And for that, we are grateful. Yes, Justice Howard says Felia Navidad, or Day, Felia Navidad, which is also a derivative of Feliz Navidad, Happy Holidays, and it is a holy day greeting, a high holy day greeting. I have a question for the Congress as we. By the way, are there any questions, comments, wisdom, greetings from the Congress regarding our high holy New Year? Are they
cute costume for tonight's pretend time?
Any more will to make a statement regarding the New Year?
Is we having barbecue tonight?
Moment. Islam. Any more? Apparently, some don't know their identity yet, but we will continue to teach them. Islam.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Happy New Year to everyone from New York territory. Islam.
Islam. Thank you, Empress.
Isn't that sweet little seventh grader angel?
Anyone else of importance?
Islam.
Islam nobility.
This is Tonis Al-Bay from the Khalifa territory, wishing everyone a happy New Year. Islam.
Thank you, nobility. The Moors at Washington territory wish the New York Moors and the Khalifa territory Moors a happy New Year as well. We return the sentiment. Thank you.
Islam.
Islam, Justice Kansu.
I want to wish everybody a happy New Year.
This is going to be your last one before you go to jail for funny.
Go ahead, nobility.
Happy New Year, and to all of the Moors and everybody in the Congress, and have a happy New Year.
Islam, from United Kingdom territory. Justice Kansu.
United Kingdom territory.
Islam.
Justice Why Not and Justice Nana. Justice Why Not.
Okay, this is Wayne from Canaan, and I am pleased to be here, happy to be here. Now you look lovely. I like what you're wearing.
Thank
Just
you.
want to wish everyone a very, very happy New Year. Blessings.
Islam. Thank you, Empress. Empress Nana.
Islam, this is Empress Nana from London territory, and I would like to wish all my beautiful clan and all Moors a happy, prosperous, beautiful, wonderful New Year filled with love, peace, love, light, and healing.
Indeed. Thank you.
And I'm going to say a special, and this isn't, taken away from anybody else, but to Brother Konsu, my neighbour. Yeah.
Indeed.
Islam.
Indeed. Beautiful. Thank you so much. We absolutely are just so honored and excited to have the UK Moors, the United Kingdom Moors, a part of our Congress, as well as the Moors from all of the other continents at Earth. We have every continent presented. Islam.
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 Yahya Bey speaking from the Carolina territory, and I am very, very honored and grateful and appreciative to be amongst the Moors. I would love to say Happy New Year to you all, everyone, and with that, I'll give the floor.
Thank you, Justice Yahya. What territory are you at, Justice Yahya?
I'm in the presently. I'm in the Carolina territory.
Islam. Thank you so much. You present the Carolina territory very well, by the way. Islam.
Our third eye sees evictions and foreclosures in your.
And we always got a cheerleader. We always got a cheerleader for us, so we don't have to work too hard.
Yes, we don't even have to hire a cheerleader. We got them already.
Islam.
Islam, Justice Hakeem.
I just want to say Happy New Year's to all the Moors and all the variations of Moors. So.
What territory are you at, Justice?
Illinois. Lower Illinois.
I found out some things about Illinois territory this past week that I will share. I'll be happy to share that in just a few minutes, but we will to get the acknowledgments of the territories On the record, Islam.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
Michael Demois McGee Bay, Mississippi Territory. I'm in the Illinois Territory visiting my mother in Freeport, Illinois. And I would like to say Happy New Year to all of the Moors on the call and all over the world.
Thank you so much.
And I want to see.
And your funny money is still getting rejected everywhere.
Go ahead, nobility.
I want to see the videos of the food that the various Moors cooked, and I want to take a screenshot of it when they put it up.
Islam. Thank you, nobility.
Islam.
Nobility.
Pharaoh Spike Hill, Virgin Land. I wish the family a happy New Year and a fearless New Year. Peace.
Yes, Justice Pharaoh Spike L. Fearless is a good word. We love that word. Thank you for that. Islam, Justice Kansu.
Can you open the call, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Islam. Also, on the way up here, yesterday, I passed by Bay Distribution. Before it's below St. Louis or even outside of St. Louis. I just looked over to the side, right side of the highway, and I saw up on a hill Bay Distribution. And I also passed by more from Mississippi who was traveling with a Bay Distribution on the side of a truck, more, but it had Bay on the side of the truck also. So I don't know who it was, but the last thing was more.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I just know in my knower nobility that we're going to see a lot more of what was always here, but it was hidden from us. Wow.
Islam.
Is that Justice Abbas?
You got it.
I missed you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year.
Yo, brother, you got your picture.
Go ahead, nobility.
Over talking, you shut up. Islam. I wish everyone a happy New Year.
Thank you, nobility. We missed you and are glad to hear your voice.
Same here, my sister. You know I love you.
And I love you too. Islam. Anyone else?
Islam.
Asha.
Well, actually, it's not so sunny right now, but from Jamaica, on the land here, and I just wanted to, wish everybody Happy New Year, bon anniversaire, happy spring, happy life, happy joy.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be in Circle and Congressional with everyone. I actually tried to put on my camera, but it's not allowing me because I wanted to actually even just smile sweetly at everybody.
Why don't my demonstrations work? Why don't my demonstrations work?
But anyway, I wanted to say, Happy New Year, happy spring, happy Jupiter Day as the beneficent one. So, and may all of our lives be filled with joy and love and laughter and light and abundance.
Yeah.
And
why don't you have a conveyance yet? Or so?
Go ahead, Empress.
Fearlessness, as was stated by a previous noble.
Yeah.
So Ayo.
Yeah.
Malembe Yezola, peace and
Malembe.
I love you, Shasha. I love you. Yeah, I just had to come in and say that. Malembe Yezola, my beautiful, beautiful sister. I love you.
Islam.
Smile big so we can see that missing tooth, Pauline.
You're going to make us jealous, Empress.
Love you, Nana. Love everyone. Love.
Indeed.
Life.
Indeed.
Malembe Yezola.
You know what I love too, also?
Keep smiling big, Pauline. We want to see that missing.
This is what I love about it, is that we control our own frequency. Our happiness, our peace is not affected. We just keep remaining way up here with the frequencies. So, yeah, I love that part. Islam Empress.
Yamaya Haris Bey. I would like to say Happy New Year's to all. Great and grand rising to you, Empress, and to all the Moors. At present, I am speaking to you all from a nursing rehabilitation center. I missed several congresses. I became
So apparently you ain't feeling so good, Mo.
And
unfortunately,
in the end, I wound up getting an amputation.
Hey, Phoenix, where are them conveyances?
I was going to miss another Congress. I miss you all, and I wish you all peace, love, and joy.
We wish you peace, love, joy, and healing, Empress, as well.
Islam, gratitude.
Indeed, and we're glad to hear your voice. We are so glad that you're with us.
Thank you.
Islam.
I yield the floor.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Buku healing.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Islam, Empress Light. Can you unlock the meeting, please?
Sure.
Islam.
Islam. I learned something new this week in my studies about. Is there any other any other greetings?
Islam.
Empress Cynthia, and then the other Empress.
Happy New Year, love and laughter to our wonderful Congress. I feel so privileged to have known all of you all. I'm just grateful to be here. I'm watching all the miracles on the land that are showing up as of today, and I know it's due to our work. And I feel so fortunate to be one of those chosen to do this work. It's not easy, but it sure is rewarding. And I just want to say I love you all, and I say peace right now and love. And
yet you can't get a domicile, can you, Cynthia?
Many
Just
in
a
body.
moment. Yeah. Yeah.
One in mind. And I'm at home wherever I am.
Not working out so well for you and your stupid family.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. You know, Empress, this is the this is the part for me about that. It is impossible for us to be homeless on our own land. Meanwhile, those making all that noise in the background, not so much. They can't say the same thing. And they know that. So we're good. We're good. We're at home. We are all at home. And for that we are grateful. We will always be here. We've been here since time immemorial.
These trailer park trash.
One thing that I do know is that the mass psychosis is lifting. Let me say that 2 more times because that's a spell. The mass psychosis of forgetting who the Moors are is lifting. The mass psychosis of everyone knowing, or actually everyone forgetting who they were is lifting. It's falling away, actually. Everyone is remembering now who they are. It's a process, but everyone is remembering. And that process cannot be reversed.
Islam, I affirm Islam.
Not going to get you.
That's mass psychosis right there. They have mental issues. That's proof of mental issues.
That's something that your family tells you.
Of proof of mental issues. And that mass psychosis, we bind the spell. We bind the spell. We bind it to outer darkness.
Islam,
Empress.
I just want to add my voice and say Happy New Year to everyone here. I am so privileged. When I first found out about the Moors and I knew nothing about us, my heart wanted to run quickly and become a Moor. And my family looked at me and said, "Why do you want that?" And I said, "It's the first thing that really has to do with me." And I want to say to everyone in this room, I appreciate that you are here because I did not know I had this family. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Make Believe Pickup.
You're welcome, Empress. And we are so grateful that you were brave enough and bold enough to stand. Extreme wealth is not for punks. I'll just leave that right there. Justice Malik.
Okay. You got the TV on? You hit the TV?
Yes, it's really loud, Justice Malik.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Listen, go ahead, Justice Akil. Islam.
Yeah, I just would like to say Happy New Year's to everyone, and I'm looking forward to more demonstrations, successful demonstrations.
Yes.
And learning some more knowledge and wisdom from you, Empress Light, and I appreciate you.
A whole new year of failures. A whole new year of failures.
Go ahead, Nobility. Boy, they hating, but it's still our new year.
Yeah, I appreciate you for taking the time and sacrificing to get this knowledge out to us so that we can be rightfully securing our estate and Moorish heritage.
Islam.
I just appreciate you and love everybody on the call, except for I won't say.
They not even don't give them no credit.
Peace and love to all.
Islam. Justice
Happy New Year.
Justice Akil, thank you. If I may offer my little perspective or insight about the growth that I have actually witnessed within you. I'm just grateful that it's there because we just love to see growth in everyone. We're all growing and rising in our greatness and our inheritance And it's amazing to see. It's very beautiful.
I can't myself.
Say again. It's a little distorted. What you said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't forget also there was like Brother Howard and Brother Earl and Dawood.
Yeah.
And a lot of these great minds behind the scenes is really helping me out, and I appreciate them too. Happy New Year as well. So I just wanted to get that out also.
Islam. I'm grateful that that the unity is there among the nobles and the matriarchs. The unity is here. I'm grateful for that.
Islam?
Yes, Islam, Empress Nevaeh.
Islam.
Islam.
I just want to say Islam to all the nobilities, Islam to all the empresses, and just to remind us, just saying those titles as a reminder of who we really are.
Yes, yes, indeed.
We are empresses, we are noble, we are everything, and all the love and light and peace that
You need to be reminded that you're a bunch of losers.
Go ahead, Empress.
All the love, light, and the peace that I'm sensing from the frequency and the love and unity that we have for one another. It's almost, I feel it like a blanket around me.
Yeah.
And I'm literally shaking because of all the frequency is so high.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is such a beautiful, beautiful tribe, and this is my first born day in just a few days as a Moor, and I'm so grateful and thankful to the ancestors that I found out who I really am. I've always known that I was different, and everything that
so you can find out that your shit don't work
in my sleep helped to prepare me for what I need to do now. So Islam.
Oh, that's a beautiful point, Empress. Thank you so much. Everything that we've been through, everything that we learned in our sleep, everything that we went through in our sleep, and everything that we have, all the tests that we've just passed with flying colors because we're still here since we awakened.
Yet your funny money still gets projected everywhere.
It cannot be denied. That's first and foremost. Can't be denied. Those things really happened. Secondly, they were all in preparation.
It can't be denied that they were failures.
For us to govern the vast estate.
You can't deny that they were a failure.
We've absolutely overcome all. We're still here, been through it. And the key word is through. On through, and that's behind us. And for that, we're grateful. Everything that we went through, everything that we learned, all of that was in preparation to govern this vast estate and to accept the wealth and the riches and the prosperity, the abundance, and to assist our brothers and sisters to do the same, to know who they are and to do the same. So I'm grateful for this meal that we're sharing together. And I'm almost speechless at how far we've come. Almost speechless, but not quite. because we always have some word that we can use. We've come so far. We've come through so much. And everyone still looks great and sounds great. Islam nobility.
Yes, I want to let everybody know on this New Year's Day that just stand on who you are.
That's it.
I have full faith and credit on the right to travel. I went in front of that beast and got one of our fellow Moors out of jail, and it was a $1,500 bill.
Islam.
Okay, and like you can attest to that.
Of course. I was witness, and yes. And
we was on the coalition together.
We were assisting, yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, just stand on who you are. And always remember that this is Morocco.
Yes.
Okay, and we take precedent over everything.
Yes.
And with that, I yield.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Justice Abbasi.
Then why can't you buy free groceries?
This indeed is Morocco. Ancient, ancient, ancient land. Ancient land. Always has been and always will be.
And yet you still can't get self-service.
Indeed.
Yeah, because even Pappy came over here stealing and still is. With that, I yield.
Oh, that's so awesome. With that being stated, just 1 moment. I found some information about Illinois. So, which brings me to the question that I was going to ask the Congress. Especially in light of what's happening in the funny mirror at this time regarding people coming here. Where is the official port or ports for people to come here rightfully and claim their subject citizen status? Where is the right port for that?
I thought we were going away last September, Pauline. What happened with that?
We're going away right now. The right port for them to come in.
Islam. I would say the consulates, the Congress, anywhere where there's a Moor who can, state who is,
Little Angelica, do another seventh grader.
Go ahead, Empress.
With the right red thumbprint and the embosser to say who they are and put them in proper persona, that's the port.
That is correct. That's the right answer. In the enactment from the previous era, there were many who came in through quote unquote Ellis Island. I did not put that link in the chat. Let me pull out my giant Moorish boot and boot the imposter out. Goodbye. There were some who came in, most who came in through Ellis Island. And Ellis Island, let us be clear, is a mental and insane asylum place. That's a place where they have a large, or had in the enactment, a large insane asylum. Is everyone aware that the quote unquote State Department building in Washington, D.C. was also the first government Federal Insane Asylum. Is everyone aware of that? It was called St. Elizabeth in Washington, D.C., D.C. in the script, in the enactment.
An insane asylum's where your family send
Yes,
you.
it was an insane asylum.
For believing in make-believe.
I believe they're calling from there. Yes. Islam, Empress.
I was certainly not aware of that fact. But, you know, as you stated, Ellis Island, do you know what I heard? L-less.
Yes.
Which says it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I yield.
L meaning God, and less meaning without or not or lower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Saint, go ahead, Empress.
No, that you just made me think about, again, I don't know, we've covered asylum and insanity, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the enactments going on here, and you just brought something, I have to figure it out in my brain, but it just, that whole asylum, insane, ill health, not right, incompetent, minority, all of those things. I yield, yeah.
Mm. And the word sane means sound.
Sound. Islam, if I may,
Yes.
today, again, that sound.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the sound kept coming into my, and it was, in fact, it was exactly what you're stating right now, because the word kept coming and I was just rolling it around as I do. The phrase, to be of sound mind.
And sound money.
And sound money. And all of those things, which goes right back to, in the beginning was the word, the sound. And so yes, you just, with that sane and sound, you just spark that memory.
You poor people are being misled.
It is so powerful.
Yes. So yes, Empress. I brought up the immigrant piece because of the enactment of people pouring in at the quote-unquote southern border. What that really means is what Empress Angel was stating about people. That is an enactment of people coming in and the previous actors not being able to contain or record or control. But it's because we are in control of the flow. Another reason I brought up the places where in the last enactment, those that were doing business as immigrants came in. See, the place that they came in determined what job they would do when they came here. See, the ones that were previously doing business as George W. Bush and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, all those actors, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of those actors, they did not come in. And Trump as well, the actor Donald Trump. Their grandparents, when their grandparents came here, and they didn't come through Ellis Island. Ellis Island was for the everyday, poverty-stricken, basically, blue-collar worker. Occasionally, some would make it to management enactments. But by and large, the least wealthy or the poorest ones came in through Ellis Island. The ones who had special assignments coming in here, because it's our land. They were acting. It's our land. The ones with special assignments, can anyone hazard or just take a guess? Or does anyone know where those ones came in at?
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
Either the Khalifa or Land of Flowers.
Some came into both, but the higher there's another place where the higher ones like Soros, George Soros.
Well, then that would probably be Washington, where you're at. No?
Justice Harold says in the chat, Boston, close, but no, not there either. So some of the major landmarks, quote unquote, because they're not really landmarks, they belong to us, tells you where they came in at. Empress Royalty Jackson L is very close. She's right about the one previously doing business as Donald Trump came in through New York. So there was a building there that they enacted naming after him and his grandparents. That's where they came in at, New York Harbor. Still came by boat, still immigrant. There's another place though, where the ones that are named Rockefeller and George Soros and all of them came in at. The place that they came in at, go ahead, Nobility.
How about Delaware?
No, that's where they incorporated in their enactments, they incorporated their businesses. The place that they came in at, Morris, and I'm surprised you didn't catch it, is Chicago, Illinois, where the Rockefeller Center is. That is where the ones that had the specific duties, such as heads of quote-unquote colleges and universities and things of that nature, came in at. They came there first to receive their orders at Rockefeller Center, quote-unquote. And then a lot of them, the majority of them actually, who came in through that place, those are the ones who got up into the millions and billions in terms of absorption of the debt. Some called them wealthy people. And a lot of them, the majority of them, did some time at University of Chicago in different areas where they would spend their time rewriting and revising records. The ones that had specific duties at Yale and Harvard and Princeton and Brown and Georgetown and the other Ivy League places, in their enactment, they got their script or their job or their occupation from Chicago.
And yet she can't prove any of that.
So,
Islam,
Empress.
What waterway would they travel then?
Well, think about where all of that is and the rivers, the Chicago River, coming in on the East Coast, period.
Okay. So it would probably been the Hudson.
Absolutely.
And then,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Islam,
Empress.
I have to share. When I first came onto the mainland, I lived in Chicago. Took classes at the University of Chicago.
Really?
Just, yeah, the more I learn about myself, about the Moors, about the history, and where I have lived and stepped and worked, and I had no idea about who I am, the truth of. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, wow.
Yes.
Wow. And to be on this side of things now with the mission that we're all on. So I yield. I just had to share that because I'm just, wow, yeah.
See, all of our steps were pre-ordered by us. We did that.
I see it.
See what I'm saying? Islam Empress.
I have a couple of questions. Oh, first I'd like to say Happy New Year. This is Empress Navi. My question would be, is anyone familiar with Ellisville in Chicago? It was a quote-unquote reservation that they renamed that my family has a lot of ties to. I was told that one of my great-grandfathers was the postmaster there.
I've not heard of it, Empress. Anyone else? Has anyone heard of that?
Did Empress, you said Ellisville?
Ellisville. It was a reservation.
Is it on the south side, do you know? South side Chicago?
It's in, I think, Fulton County.
My consort may know. He's from Chicago.
Okay. All right.
He may know, but he's not here on the Congress.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that they renamed it,
Oh, of course. You weren't supposed to know that. You were not supposed to know that you all were governing the whole time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Gratitudes.
Wow. Just one moment. I will to present a link to a video that I watched the other day. The title of the video is, let's see. Just one moment, let me find it. I learned a lot from this particular video, and of course, whenever we're looking at videos and things done by those who are not us, in terms of those who are not more scholars, like the Congress, we all are, they tend to color, put coloring on it. But the video was it had some good information in it. I'll provide the link in the chat right now, actually. I found it. Just one moment. Here, let's go ahead and find this. Okay, I put the link in the chat to the video where I've heard about the people, certain ones coming in through, because see, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that they would tell the truth, that the modern ones will tell the truth when it's time for them to tell, when they're staring death in the face. That's what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. And this particular video, she just sung like a bird in terms of a lot of things that have to do with us, of course. But our information in videos like these are under the surface. they never come right out and say the Moors did this and the Moors did that, but they do show, and they're getting bolder with it and telling some things that have to do with us. Now they're becoming more outspoken about it because we've put some things on the record. A couple of other things. The ones that came through Chicago with specific duties were the servants of the Moors. They were from the house of different Moors, because actually the original Rockefellers are Moors. The original Rothschilds are Moors. Those that have been paraded out in front of everybody were the servants from the house of Rockefeller and house of Rothschild. And then there was a christening. That's what christening is when we give our servants and subjects names. That's called christening. That's where Christendom came from. Everyone is aware of that. Scholars know this, and now we all do. Those ones, like those actors such as Trump and the Bushes and the Clintons and so on and so forth, they all received their particular type of immigrant papers and immigrant documents at Chicago and places like that, Chicago and New York. It's a different level of immigrant in the enactment that they received, and that floated them above the other citizens and subjects. And the citizens and subjects knew that there was a hierarchy, and they dared not cross it. They knew that. But in the churches, quote unquote, they were told all men are created equal. And our grandparents and everybody was told that, and that was pushed on, in the enactment, all men are created equal, when they knew that was not true. It wasn't true. Not true. Because some men are created and others are made. Some are created, others are made.
Islam, isn't it that there was a statement that would be made sometimes about the businessmen and women? They were self-made, or
yes,
I mean,
yes.
right. Mm.
There were some who were claiming to be self-made.
Right.
Which means that they just crafted their own documents. They showed up and crafted their own documents. Why? Because the Moors were enacting sleep, and we were not doing what we're doing now, which is stating that all must be properly identified.
And actually, as you state that also, it's MADE, made. But then all of a sudden, and going back to where they came in and whom they were, MAID, made.
Yes.
Servant.
Yes.
My, the sound.
Yes. Yes. Empress, you're very sane. I affirm. Very sound. In the video that I put the link in, I'll just tell you a little bit about some of the things that I saw in the video. They mentioned in the video the Moor who started the Eastern Orthodox Christian Church. He was a bishop of Caesarea Mosaka in Cappadocia, which is Asia Minor. And the reason he was in Asia Minor was because he was starting an arm of Christianity. Asia Minor and America Minor are the same. We are the majority due to our seniority. first in line, first in time, first in line. And so he was one of the Moors, and there were I think about 4 Moors who came together, who did not will to be under the Pope, who was under Constantine. And so they started an Eastern Orthodox Christianity church. Those ones are the ones who kept the paintings of us, the matriarchs, as their God, as their Lord, with our sons on our lap, as their Savior. Another something that was brought out in the video, and again, these are things that stood out to me. In the video, they will make a statement about it and move on. So if you're not paying attention, you'll miss some of the things they say, but you won't. This Congress won't miss it, and those who can hear me won't miss it. But the average, one listening to it who's not fully awake will miss some of these important sayings that were said in the video. Another something that was brought out in that video was that, well, let me just ask you first, does anyone wonder, because I used to wonder this, where are all the drugs coming from that are coming into the quote-unquote U.S. Where is all that coming from? We know that the guns, yes. Where was all of that? How was it getting here unchecked? And then making its way into the neighborhoods unchecked. How did that happen? And where were they coming in at?
Islam.
Well,
I know that so all of the fraudulent governments their business was gold, oil, and drugs, and so everything was coming in through their fraudulent ports. And the CIA, I see somebody's put that on there, but that's what their business actually, along with human trafficking, that was it.
So let us give some, you're absolutely correct, Empress, and those in the chat, you're all correct. Most said the CIA, etc. Has anyone in this Congress ever heard of an airport called the Mena Airport? Mena Intermountain Municipal Airport.
Islam.
Known
as Al Bay, Khalifa territory. Yeah, that was the famous airport where Bill Clinton flew in the heroin and put it on the Tyson chicken trucks to be delivered to different grocery stores.
And Walmart.
Yeah. And Walmart. Well, I mean, they have a route,
Yeah. The Walmart trucks went there to that place to deliver things all over. And that's why Walmart was so interested in being in all the neighborhoods.
Islam, isn't that why
also,
Walmart was set up?
Word Walmart, you get martial law.
Yeah. And the prison industrial complex, they were huge contributors of debt to that. Here's a fun, and I can't say it's fun, but here's some information about the enactment of that particular airport, Mena Intermountain Municipal Airport. Because I didn't even know these places existed. Does anyone know the jurisdiction for that place that were in the enactment? Does anyone know what the jurisdiction was?
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
Was it Great Britain?
Yes. You could say that. The crown. You could say that. I will say this also, that the U.S. did not have jurisdiction there in the enactment. Did you know there was any such place on that where the U.S. was not did not have any authority whatsoever in the enactment? In the enactment, it was enactment of authority. It wasn't real authority. We know that.
Islam. It makes me think of Colombia, actually, and the whole wars and.
Yes. Yes. They were flying straight from there to Mena Intermountain Municipal Airport. And the words intermountain and municipal are the giveaway, that the jurisdiction is different. Whenever you see the word municipal and you're talking something about international, but see, intermountain, who are the mountain or mound builders? Who are they?
The Moors.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my.
Yes.
Between the mountains.
Yes. Not international, but intermountain.
Wow. I mean, wow.
And the U.S. couldn't touch anything coming or going.
My.
That is what everyone knew in that enactment. Everyone knew that about where everything was coming and going from and to, and how things were getting in and so on and so forth. They knew that. Everyone knew.
So actually, the Moors were still really running the show.
We always have been and always will be.
No matter what it is, it cannot be without the Moors running it.
That is the truth.
Absolutely the truth.
That is the truth.
Islam, if I may.
Islam, Empress.
I've been doing some studying, and the handbook for the Office of Sheriff, and it is a very powerful read because it is a constitutional handbook for the Office of Sheriff, and because we're to know our offices, it is a great book to read. I highly recommend it. But in my studies and learning and, eruditing rather, Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, before the Constitution rather, and the first part is, because you were speaking of immigration and such, and this part got me, what? It states, the migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808. But a tax or duty may be imposed on such imports not exceeding $10 for each person. And I was breaking that down. I said, what now?
Yeah.
Migration or importation of such persons. Oh, now you're talking corporations.
Yeah. Yeah.
As any of the states.
Are you feeding your fat face?
Now existing. So they're talking about the minor United States because it's now existing. They didn't talk about
Look at Pauline chewing her cud.
They said the now existing
Chewing that cud, Pauline.
To admit. And so this is about what we were just speaking about trafficking. And bringing in imports and exports of, well, the enactment of drugs, military weapons, all of these things. And this is what the Article 1, Section 9 states, that is the Office of Sheriff's job to not allow happen, because this is the biggest thing that they were, the office is supposed to, crack down on, and so on and so forth. And so it says, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation, not exceeding $10 for each person.
Get that fat face out of here. Come on.
Which is how I
You said you were going to open your post office window a year ago today, Pauline. What happened?
Go ahead, Empress.
How I interpret it to be that the fees that they were collecting for the persons that they were putting down in their
Guess
book.
you're a big fat fucking liar.
So it said it is not to exceed $10.
Yeah.
For that exchange, and I was just like, wow. And then, as any of the states now exist, and I'm just like, yo, this is the definition of their treatment. They enacting on trafficking, like was stated earlier, and just their enactment. Oh, but then the next one says the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus, shall not be suspended unless when in the case of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. So also, so how I'm interpreting all this as well is because there clearly was the tale of the
Another
two.
seventh grader book report from Angel.
Go ahead. The jure and the corporate fiction. So the fact that they were enacting migration and enacting importation, that means they were taking the appellation and turning it into a corporate fiction, and they was charging you for that, the 10 fiat. And then now they give remedy in the enactment saying the privilege of habeas corpus shall not be suspended, because when we do our affidavit of writ of habeas corpus, that means that we are taking back our body, the body, right? So that's why they say it cannot be suspended for any time unless in case of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it, or what have you. So this Article 1, Section 9, in conjunction with the Sheriff Manual Handbook, is a very interesting read, and I'm gleaning and gaining a lot of knowledge from it, and how we're to demonstrate our offices and take back our land, and also in the manual it speaks about everything that we're standing on, all our principles. And I came into the knowledge of realizing that the manual for the sheriff's office is also a Masonic book. Because when you understand it, this is how I interpret it. The lodges would read it and know it, and they would do the opposite. And then the enactment to make you enact thinking that you're a subject to them.
Yeah.
And so
that's part of that psychosis thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you understand it, you digest it, and you put it back in its proper place and its proper standing, then you can stand on the principle and the application for what it is stating, because the whole manual is speaking about the Constitution and how the sovereigns that we are is God.
And we have to restate that manual.
Oh, we've done that over here at New York Territory. That part, that's already done. And so it states that, yes, the original we the people are the sovereigns. The law and the law of the land and law for the land. It's very empowering.
And that also affirms that again, everyone knew. Everyone knew. They know who the people are. We're standing right here on our land. We haven't gone anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also for the enactment. See this, when you read that manual, also it says there's no such thing as a court, and it says it. It says there's either a court of record or a court without standing. Nisi something. Nisi presi or something. It just means without standing.
Yeah.
And so, and those enactments of the fictitious courts have no standing, and so it says it in the manual. And I was just reading it saying, oh my, wow. So, and it says the only court of record is, anybody guess? An Article 3 court.
Of course. And they cannot make themselves Article 3.
No. The only court of record is the Article 3 and the office for the sheriff.
Yes.
That's it. And because the office of the sheriff is also known as a district court, that's there too. So that means the district court is the sheriff, and the sheriff is the office district of the district court and the Article 3.
Yeah.
So there's so many gems in there, and so many ways of oh, that's not me, by the way, in that chat right there.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Yes. They're enacting me.
Let me pull.
I don't have the image in my. I have just the microphone.
Okay.
That girl problem.
The boot.
You got some fat girl problems, yeah. Fat.
Yes.
So, they sound like they got a voice problem. Sound like they got a mute problem.
Right.
Sound like
and so yes, with that stated, the Article 3 that we are, and we are the district court, and we are the sheriffs.
Yes, always have been and always will be. That is for sure. That is for certain.
We got this. We so got this. And I was just sitting there. Oh, that's another thing. I'm sorry, I wasn't desire to share, because when you say all the time they can't do anything without a more. When I was reading the that same passage, Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, and it says, no money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipt and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time, right? So I went to Black's Law, 4th edition, and I looked up the word drawn, and it states drawn. And I went to, when it was referring to money, it says in mercantile law, to draw a bill of exchange is to write or cause it to be written and sign it, to make as a note, right? And then we know appropriations and what that means. But then I was like, okay, the Treasury. So how have they been enacting all of this and getting around the Treasury? And because I know that a clerk or a notary derive their in the enactment their authority from the Treasury. But if you Google it now in AI, it'll say it does not. But if you go to the handbook for the Treasury, it says that it does. That judicial law and power comes from the Treasury. And we all know that we're the Treasury. But I'm saying all this to say that when I looked up after I did my pondering, the word witness, because in order to do the drawing from the Treasury and to do proper accounting made by the law, you have to have either a clerk, notary, or a witness, right? And then a witness in Black's law is the chiefs of the Saxon lords or thanes, their nobles, and wise men. So when I remember it being stated and knowing that in the enactment they couldn't do anything without a Moor present, whether awake or sleeping, every time there would always have to be a Moor, because the Moor is the witness. Because to be a witness, you have to have a title for nobility. And so I was just processing things, and this is me expressing how it was enacted in the enactment of things being enacted. Let me just put it that way. And so we've always been that they desire, because we are the witness. So when you process all of that and you know that you are everything, you have to also be your witness. And you can't ask anybody without title for nobility to be a witness. You have to have somebody of competent standing to be a witness for anything that you do.
Islam. You know, I'm glad you brought that up, Empress, because everything that we do here, I'm autographing it, and then I turn around and be the notary for it, and then I turn around and be the postmaster general for it, and then I turn right on around again and switch fezzes, and actually I don't even have to switch turbans for that, because our one turban contains all. So Moors, some Moors have been waiting on someone to witness their documentation. You are your own witness because you're sovereign. That's what the sovereigns do. So let that sink in and get busy doing all that you do. We have been all sides of the exchanges. So with that being stated, Empress Royalty Jackson L., if you would, *6, Empress, and just greet the Congress. I noticed that earlier in the Congress, you stated that I believe you said this is your first time here at Congress. She just put some really good information in the chat, by the way. She put a link in the chat to some paper for the fiduciary demonstrations. If you will, too, Empress, just *6 is how you unmute your microphone, if you choose to do so.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Islam.
Okay, Islam. I'm sorry, I've been quiet lately because I have laryngitis. Mm-hmm. But I've been. I just wanted to tell you earlier, that you are definitely, following after your name, because you have been a light and inspiration in my life. And if it wasn't for you, just providing the essential information to, for me to get this far, I wouldn't be this far, because everywhere else where I look, they want a buku of money. So I follow you on YouTube, and I've been, just following the process, and whenever I get some important information, I want to share it to you guys. So, Islam, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
We love you too, Empress, and we're so honored that you're here. Thank you so much. And the information that you placed in the chat is valuable. Very, very valuable. Yeah, we don't Go ahead, Empress.
No, I was saying thank you.
Yeah.
My voice.
Oh yeah. We don't. Yeah, we don't. Fiat doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing, except to move out of the way and let us do what we do. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because see, that's been the problem.
Yeah.
That the fiat has been the problem.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem that we haven't already fixed. First, by sharing the information that our ancestors give us, because believe it or not, and this is what some people don't realize yet, but they'll get it after a while, the information belongs to the people anyway. It belongs to all of us.
Yes, it should be free.
Yes, we should be sharing that information like community property. We should.
And I
Why? Because it's going to uplift everybody. Go ahead, Empress.
Thank you guys so much for, everything that you already have done to get us to this point. All of the affidavits and just, just all the strides you guys have made, and I really do appreciate it. I know it's a lot, a lot of court. Look at your, on your Google page, so many court filings and things like that, and it's not easy. So I just appreciate it, and I just thank, Allah for your your determination and your strength, and you're not giving up, and you just just for everybody, you're not even selfish with it, and I just love that about you.
Thank you, Empress. I appreciate and thank you for noticing that I could not have done it without this Congress, of which you are a part. So we're all doing this together. This Congress is the most powerful Congress at Earth. That's coming out of my mouth right now. I said it March 21st. Write it down. This is a powerful Congress. Very powerful, all-powerful Congress. And we're not even shy.
I don't give up. I've been trying to get in contact with you. I've been on Facebook trying to on your web page. It's I'm just looking for the answers and searching, but I can't get in touch. I still push to move forward,
I think our ancestors have purposefully made it so that anyone who wills to get in touch with me must come to Congress to do it. I think they did that on purpose. I really do. Because this is the only place that I can be, unless you come to the consulate here, this is the only place I can, that people can connect with us, so to speak. YouTube, of course, yes, as well.
I've been trying to make it. I was like, man, I missed it. Oh my God, I missed it. I be so mad at myself because I done missed Congress. This has just been it's my goal, to just connect with you guys and introduce myself and to just have my own, when you go to church, they say you're supposed to go to church, so you can,
have your own experience.
And not just experience, but you have your people.
Yeah.
And I feel like an outsider there, but now I feel like I'm, I'm one of you guys, for real.
Yes, you are. We are one indeed. Empress always have been and always will be. Always.
And
Indeed. And here the matriarchs get along like sisters, like ancient sisters. And the nobles get along like ancient nobles do. I love that about us.
I'm so glad you guys, that you put your Congress on YouTube because that I feel like I already know everybody. I watch you faithfully, I hear your voices, I picture your faces.
Yeah.
And I just feel one and all. When I hear you guys talk, it resonates. Hey. Never felt this, part of anything before. Compared to anybody, I always felt like an outsider. And I didn't belong anywhere, But then I stumbled across you guys one day, and wow,
Islam
my family.
Yes, indeed. We are one, Empress, indeed. Our bloodline goes back to the very before time immemorial.
Yeah.
We've always been.
You
And we
taught me
always
that.
will be. Yes, we always will be. Indeed.
You're such a great teacher. I love that about him.
Islam.
I'm actually considering, opening, starting a Moorish consulate where I stay because it's like the state U.S. government, they're out of control.
Well, Empress, from our perspective, you already are the Congress, and you already are the consulate. You already are the Chief Justice. You're the court.
Right,
you're the sovereign.
I need backup.
We're here. Here we are. We're all here. That's what this is all about. Is us supporting one another this way, and then going out to the territories and demonstrating our status. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we've been doing it all this time.
And when you go to jail,
you know what I'm saying?
With this
because it absolutely works.
Well, it didn't work for me when they kicked in my door the other day and dragged me off and hauled me off and took my son away from me. So
you know what? It did work for you though, because you know what? You're here where the remedy is. See, this is the thing. When things like that happen, those things were going to happen whether you declare your nationality or not. So let's put that on the record to everybody. They were coming for you anyway with a fake system. Take that from me. They were coming anyway. Empress, before you knew who you were, they were coming for that child because they know the child is the heir. Yeah. They know you're the Empress. They know that. They were coming, but it just so happens this time you got remedy. You are your remedy. What you know can indeed make all the difference. Yeah. They were coming anyway. Before I woke up, they was coming and coming and coming, and I felt like I was drowning because I didn't know what to do or how to get out of all of that. And I wasn't even doing anything.
Right. That part.
And so, now we know how to deal with that. We know what it is. It's a funny mirror. But anybody who doesn't know that, they might get their door kicked in and their heirs taken until they can wake up and speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So, Empress, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stated that specifically so that we could make that point. Because listen, that funny mirror ain't funny to the people that's stuck in there and thinking that they don't have a way out. It's not funny to them. It's a funny mirror to us because we know when we say funny, we don't mean ha-ha funny. We mean stupid funny.
Yeah.
We know.
Thanks to you guys. I invoke, the consular. I invoke my rights and everything. It's out my motions and everything. So I'm on the right, the right process and everything. I just gotta keep pushing. I'm never gonna give up.
Well, Empress, I know in your spirit, and I'm not gonna speak for you. I'll just ask you: do you at least feel like you have a way out of that?
I do. I honestly do. I do. But like I said, I feel like my way out is by, starting our own, common law courts here, and having our own police. So there's none of this, nothing like that. Not, just for regular citizens either. And
well,
I just feel like
let me say this about the regular
that God brought into my path, and I'm willing to take on that role.
Well, let me say this about the regular citizens. Don't worry about them. They already know what to do. That's why they were, trying to do quote-unquote sovereign citizen things, which doesn't exist. Don't worry about them. Save yourself because you got some heirs that depend on you. Don't worry about saving them. They already know what to do. Their job is to be in their status, the proper status. And they know their protection is in their proper status. They already know what that status is. They were waiting for you to stand up. And save yourself first. Because they know if you save yourself, you've already saved all of them.
Yes.
So focus on saving yourself and your heirs. Now, you said that they kicked your door. How long ago was this that you were that the enactment was done on you?
On the 15th.
Your door. Wow. So that's like 6 days ago.
Yeah, I got bruises still on me. My body, they dragged me out here, hog-tied me, just tossed me around like I wasn't nothing.
How long have you known that you were a Moor? How long have you known that?
Before I had, I sent them court documents that same day and uploaded it into the clerk of court, so they were aware.
How long have you known that you were a Moor?
Oh, how long have I known? I just found out about it probably about January, I would say.
Mm-hmm. See, generally, that is the only way that will wake Moors up, is they have some issue that they're dealing with. The issue is what causes them to wake up, and at least start looking around for some remedy.
Well, I've been dealing with this issue since 2015.
Of course, you've been dealing with it in your sleep. Of course you have.
They've already stolen 5 of my heirs from me, and I just said I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to quit. I was going to find some type of remedy.
You are the remedy. You're the remedy. You're the remedy. You are the remedy. And what we stated before, you just affirmed what we stated before we heard that part of your story, is that they were coming for you anyway.
Yes.
Before you said more is science.
Yes.
And more science is how you are, that's where your victory comes from those situations. This is not new, Empress. We don't even have to ever have met anybody to know what the deal is and how they ended up waking up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, in the chat, Justice Yahya said, troubled times will make you transform into your higher self. Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. And see, for us, we're so strong. Not only are we strong when we're awake, but we sleep pretty strong, too. So it takes a jolt sometimes to wake us up and to make it so that we never look back.
Yes. Well, that's what I teach my older heirs, my adult heirs. Everything that I'm learning, I pass it on to them so they won't have to go through this. They won't have to go through this hard life.
Empress, we honor that you're passing that information on, and here's what we know about this whole demonstration, is that they will absolutely hear you when you save yourself first. They will absolutely hear you. They will not shout a word.
They watch me like a hog. They watch me like a hog, so that's why I go extra hard, because they copy off me. So if I want them to be great, I gotta be greater.
Yeah, and it's more about you saving yourself whether they're looking or not, because we've been through that as well. We've had to do that ourselves, save ourselves. Despite my heiress seeing things happen and my consort seeing things happen and my brothers and sisters seeing things happen, I didn't really have time to listen to a whole lot of what they were saying, because we had work to do. We had to save ourselves. And now we can tell on the record, because see, everything that happened with us, we put it on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Rejected check, no conveyance.
And we can point to it. We can point to it and say, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. This is how we overcame this.
No cell service, no conveyance.
This is how we overcame this. This is how we overcame that. And this is how we boot fools out and all of that. We do all of that on the record. On the record.
Yeah.
We have the authority to.
Yes. You're right.
So, you know,
because I be trying to, you know, give my husband, you know, the information, and he don't want to follow. I go, okay, well, I'm still gonna do what I got to do. I'm not quitting. I know what I am. I'm a Moorish, so and I know what I have.
He'll come when you save yourself. Just keep saving yourself. Keep doing what you're doing. I know that firsthand too. Keep saving yourself and keep doing what you're doing. He'll come when it's time for him to come. Because, see, everybody set for themselves a time for them to wake up. And man knows not by being told. It's only when when those times come that they start to wake up and look around, because things done got tighter and tighter for them. For some, that's what it takes. For some, that's what it takes. It's for that boa constrictor of a system to tighten up and put the squeeze on them. They'll wake up. And for others, it didn't really take all of that. For others, it didn't take that. They just, you know, felt a little uncomfortable and thought, oh, yeah, I better go ahead and declare my nationality because, you know, I'm having a premonition that things don't feel right. And they end up not going through so much. But see, the stronger we are, our strength is proven by all of that.
But I wanted to do that because it's strong. It's strength in numbers. You know.
Yeah.
Right now, where I'm at, I only know about me being the Moorish in this area. You know. So I feel like if I had, you know, a lot of people that is in that same type of circle, it's strength in numbers. You know, they can't just keep pushing us around and doing whatever they want to do because then they see that, you know, it's more of us than it.
Well, they know that already. That's why they needed, quote unquote, TV and news media and militaries and all of those type of actors. They needed all of that to make themselves look bigger. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, where there's this little tiny man behind the curtain pulling strings and stuff and making it look like he's huge and all over the place. They need that because they already know it's more of us, and it don't even take but one of us to rule the whole earth, one sovereign. It don't take but one of us. Look how many of us there are.
Yes.
So, Empress, you're at the right place, you're at the right time, and you are the answer. You're the remedy. We've demonstrated it, and we've demonstrated it. And Empress, you're not alone. We're right here with you. Just here's the thing.
Your strength, and it gives me strength, and by you guys you know, walking me through the total process, you know, because you guys are different than other Moorish American consulates that I've tried to reach out to and try to get some assistance. Every type of information you ask anybody, you know, that says that they're Moorish, they want monetized. Anything is monetized.
Well, and they don't realize that that's the problem. Some of them don't realize that that's the problem. But they'll figure it out after a while.
Conference.
They'll figure it out after a while that the fiat is not the way to go.
That's true.
They'll figure that out after a while. That we can assist the whole earth without one single fiat note being passed.
It's true.
All we have to do is will
and and I know that because I just, you know, it's like Allah, He always provides and gives me, you know, more than enough, even without even fiat. It's just like it just comes to me. It's like magnet, you know. And I don't have a job, but I get the fiat, you know. But I try to use it to, you know, better myself, to educate myself, to create businesses and jobs for people, you know.
Empress, if I may, anything that you get, the top priority is going to be make sure you have a good working printer and make sure you have an embosser so you can stamp and seal your documents, and make sure that you have paper and ink so you can get your work done.
Yes, I definitely do.
Yeah. Make sure you have those things, and then then do the study and get things going. And if you
I appreciate you for putting that video up about the postal process, because I was spending too much money on mailing this document out.
Yes, we don't do that. We don't have to feed the beast. Let that thing die. Let it die.
Yeah.
It's dead
Thank
already.
y'all so much. Y'all just been such a blessing for me. I just want to say thank y'all again.
Empress, we thank you, and we know you've been through some testing, based on what you stated. We've been through some testing too. We're all here together. And as long as you're willing to work for yourself to continue your freedom, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap already. It's already done. Just keep going. Yeah. How many heirs do you have, by the way? That's what I was going to ask you. How many heirs in total?
8.
Beautiful. Oh, if I had known then what I know now, I would have 13. I would have had at least 13 heirs. I would have had at least 13. If I'd have known then what I know now, I'd had at least 13 heirs. So you're very, very strong, Empress, already, just by virtue of the heirs that you've brought into the wealth that you've brought up onto the land. So,
yes.
We're here. Let's keep going. Congress will be here.
You guys appreciate that.
It's,
family now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Is there any? And thank you for your energy, also, Empress.
Welcome.
Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this Congress?
Islam. I just like to share. I put the link. I put the link to the manual in the chat. It's not the restated one that we've restated here, but it's for everyone to, if they desire to grab and take and read.
Yeah.
And
because we are the sheriff. We are the sheriffs indeed. At all territories we are. So when we send things as the head of everything, no matter what's going on. For example, Empress Royalty Jackson L., you were speaking about your heirs being taken. Did you know that you are the Chief Executive Officer for Child Welfare and Child Services and Health and Human Services? You're the head of that?
Yes, I just haven't filed all those documents yet. I just became a secured party creditor like 2 days ago.
Okay, so I can hear some things in what you're stating. Just keep studying and keep demonstrating. And letting your spirit lead the way. Don't worry so much about a whole bunch of different documents or whatever. Let your spirit lead you, and your spirit will lead you to the documents that that are necessary for you to continue to demonstrate your status. And then when the time is right and when you're ready, you'll get into the 40 documents and things of that nature, because that's all of that is elevated up to the level of once we've saved ourselves, then we must start governing. That's what those 40 documents are for. But the first 6 are for everyone, no matter who you are. The first 6 documents are necessary. It's a name change and judicial proclamation and a lien on the dead letter homonyms that were being used, pretending to be your name, and things of that
and
nature.
The corporate contracts.
The termination of corporate contracts, the fiduciary document, a lien on the United States Corporation Company, the dead debtors, the dead letter homonym of that. That's what those are.
That's gonna be on my priorities to do next.
Yeah. Yeah, and we encourage all Moors to do that. All Moors to do that as soon as possible, so that you can then begin to demonstrate the money and the things of that nature, the resources and things of that nature. First, know who you are, and then begin to demonstrate those things. There is a formula and a format to what we're doing. So, yes, Islam. Anyone else? Any other Moors?
Islam?
Islam in Cynthia.
Oh.
Islam in Cynthia.
That's what I get for having a full mouth. Anyway, what do you think of Legal Fiction Washington State telling their law students that they no longer need to take the bar exam? What does that mean?
It wasn't real in the first place. We told them to stop acting, and they're just doing that. All they're doing is passing the word along from the government to stop that they don't have to act like that no more. We told them
what starts in fraud ends in fraud.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We told them that, though. See, remember, nobilities, they weren't real in the first place. I mean, they weren't real. That's not law that they were doing. So why call themselves lawyers? We are the ones who turn things around. We're the attorneys. So we don't need an actor to do that anymore. So what has happened is that all of the and that is actually happening at all the territories. We've stated that all of the quote unquote law schools pretending to be law schools, don't do it. Do not issue anything about a bar exam and all of that. Don't do it, because that's not what that is. You can't bar someone from their estate with fake fraudulent documents and fake credentials. When this Congress puts a law on the public record or puts a command on the public record, it must be obeyed and it must be widespread. We told them stop acting because we're the law. And what did they do? Now they're saying we're not that you can't that they're not issuing any more licenses to practice law. They're not issuing any more of that. That's what Empress Cynthia is talking about in the news, quote unquote. They're saying that they're not issuing any more licenses to practice law, and that you don't need a license to practice law. Because after all, you're practicing, you're not really even doing anything. That is, to us, listen, the new year, this new year right here marks the start of even more things that we've put on the public record seemingly have been happening slowly, but this is now the suddenly. This is the all at once. This is the suddenly time here. So more, just keep doing what you're doing. What does it mean when they can no longer be licensed to practice law? That means that many people, many Moors and subjects alike, are not going to be getting documentation in the mail talking about lawsuit this and suing that and all of that, and having liens put on things that they don't even own.
Islam?
Islam, Empress.
Wouldn't that terminate all the licenses they think they have?
Every one of them, including the driver's licenses.
Oh, stop it. Oh, okay. And then I was amazed that it came from Acting Washington State, where you are. It's beautiful. Anyway, Islam.
Empress, we mean business. We are not playing at all. We mean business. We mean business about the Moors. We're as sensitive about the Moors as our ancestors are about us. We mean business, and we're not even playing. We're not even playing, and they know it. We said stop acting, so stop acting. We are the law, we are the government, and all of that. And those are not ego statements. That's ancient information that's been on the public record since time immemorial. You know, So, and let me just say this, if one license is no good, then ain't none of them no good. Whether that's and they even said the same thing here about the ones that are practicing quote unquote medicine. Same thing about them. They said the same thing about them because we said the same thing.
Islam.
Noble
Nathan would like, I put the link in the chat for the manual. He asked if you could open to page 23 in the manual. He would like to share something.
Islam, I just want to say something real quick for the Empress that was on the call and she said something about SPC. Just make sure you do some extra research about that because I believe that's under the 14th Amendment. Just be careful, because information can be very tricky. I was studying some SPC stuff too, and I came across that it was a 14th Amendment, which is unconstitutional amendment, colorable law, I believe. So just want to do some extra study on that and make sure that you actually know exactly what that's going to jurisdiction-wise where it places you.
If you do the study, thank you for that, Nobility. That's important information because if you look at your judicial proclamation that comes with your name change and judicial proclamation, the initial document. If you look at your judicial proclamation, it's going to state personam jurisdiction left and right. It's all over the document. And all you have to do, it even states res judicata and stare decisis on personam jurisdiction. See, in order to get to our heirs or our property or our domiciles or anything like that, in order to get to that, you must first get past personam jurisdiction, and no one can get past personam jurisdiction. They can't get past that. That's when the Moors stay on personam jurisdiction. See, we have to stay on it because if we get off of it, then they see that as a way in. But because we're never coming off of personam jurisdiction is one simple question. Who are you? And that's whether you're saying that about yourself or you're asking a foreigner, who are you? Because right now we're at ancient Morocco. So who are you here on this land? We know you haven't been here longer than we have because we don't recognize you. So who are you? And if we would stay right there and just keep asking that question right there, because the one who is asking the questions is being the king, but they would say acting as king. See, that's the word right there, as king. Yes.
I would just like to say one more thing concerning the SPC. How do I want to say, the way the forms or basically the people that's producing those documents or those forms, I say they're not documents, I don't believe more forms, but their status. So you don't want to be messing with these papers and putting yourself to obligation and messing with your status. So just to the sister, to the Empress, that was just something else to put out there. But other than that, just do some extra research and be sure of it.
And yes, and thank you for that, Nobility. Let your spirit be your first guide, your first lead on what to do. We keep it really simple, and this is how we've gotten out. We've saved ourselves from those pretending to be police and pretending to be jails and all of that. We put it on the public record how we did that. We did that by not going into subject matter at all. Because, see, if you go into subject matter, then you're pretending to be a subject. But if you stay on identity, because, see, in order for a court action to proceed, first you must establish the parties. There must be proper identification of the parties. And if they can't get past your superior status, then you have nothing to talk about anyway. There's nothing to talk about. You don't have to talk about whether you were speeding or not if they haven't gotten past personam jurisdiction. Right. You don't have to talk about their documents and their papers if they haven't identified themselves properly, because see, you're the court. So, Empress Justice Nathan, you were going to say something about the sheriff manual.
Islam, Jackie, hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It's actually page 28.
Okay, just a moment. Let's see if we can get that up on the screen. Islam.
Right there, the title says Rights and Sovereignty. This is like for us to, like, you know, study and seek that self-approved, because in this manual it states that if a sheriff has to go and ask a lawyer, he might as well hand over his badge. You know, that's what it states in this manual. What is the sheriff's duties and powers? So right here, rights and sovereignty it states sovereign is defined in black law as a person, body, jury, or state in which independent and supreme authority is vested, a chief ruler with supreme power, a king or other ruler with limited power, whereas sovereign authority was vested in we the people through unalienable rights by nature's God, and sovereign authority was vested in the state through the Constitution by we the people.
So it was we the people that were vesting or doing the actions.
Yes.
That next statement, only people are sovereign.
Only people. Yes. Good guy, read, guy.
Now, this is the part, and we'll just go ahead and say this because they know it. Anyone who came here through Ellis Island or through anywhere, the southern, quote unquote, southern border and all of that, they're coming here as persons, not people. They were coming here to work. That is personhood. We know that they are people underneath that, but they've chosen to come as persons to work.
It states that all through this manual here.
Therefore, we the people, we are the people who wrote the Constitution and vested authority in ourselves. We vested authority in ourselves, not persons and not anyone else. And that's why it was important for us to create our own person and not try to use a foreign person and be the authorized representative of a foreign person that we didn't create. Islam nobility, I yield.
Yeah. No, I love it. Go down a little bit more to the next page. Okay, stop right there. So right here, it explains to you, you know, for people that are still stuck in the funny mirror, saying other than you are the sovereign, it will be repugnant because you are the heir by bloodline and birthright. So this right here is giving an explanatory reason why you are the sovereign. Right here it says sovereignty is superlative and thus admits to no degrees of sovereignty by definition. Sovereignty resides only in that one God, deriving no authority from another. Romans, a use the Bibliohelios text here, Romans 13:1-2. In earth, men are ordained, sovereign and subject only to God. Bureaucrats in their capacity are not sovereign and have no rights. They have authority given by people, subject to the Constitution, and have a duty to speak when demanded by the people to give an account. The state cannot diminish rights of the people.
And how do we feel knowing that we are the state, we're the people, we're the sovereigns, we're the government, we're the law, and we're the ancient? How do we feel knowing that? And that at any time, we can wear any of those turbans and fezzes and switch at will from one nanosecond to the next. There is none higher and there's none beside us. So now, having read this, does this sound like someone who needs someone else to come and rescue them?
Not at all.
When you can speak for yourself and just stay on your square? Just stay on it. That's the key right there. For a sovereign, just stay on your square. Keep repeating the same thing over and over, because that's how they learn. It's called living record technique, but in psychology they called it broken record technique. Look that up. That's how you deal with children. You just continue to repeat yourself, and you stand and stay on what you stated. That's how sovereigns continue to be sovereign. For 10 days, I just did court actions over and over and over. No matter how many times whoever it was came and put their face into my courtroom, they got a court action. 10 days straight, none but court actions. That is how you demonstrate your status. Were they enacting threats? Yeah, they were enacting threats. But you can't. Islam, Empress.
Because this manual states that the sovereign is the court. It says it. It is affirming what we've known and what we know. And for those who are arising to awaken who they are, then affirm in knowing that you are the court. Don't look outside yourself to think that anything is a court. That's why when I stated that only the Article 3 is a court, and because we are the Article 3, only we can make the record. And we are the record of court, for court, by court. We're the record keepers. There's nothing else on the land that can keep our records. And so, see, yes.
Here on page 9, it says the court belongs to the sovereign people.
Thank you. Yes.
Page 9. Page 9 of that same book, which is what we've been demonstrating. That's why we can put King County Superior Court stamp on the bottom of our document.
Because we the court.
Hello. And always will be.
And yes.
Now, wait a minute. Everyone who's been through the enactment of eviction, the people who came, the persons who came, know what this book says. They know who the court is.
In fact, they do.
So now tell me they don't know who you are. Tell me they don't know who you are. They do know.
Empress, I have a quick question, please.
Yes, Islam.
So what do you do when you demonstrate and you are demonstrating your authority in your court jurisdiction and
how did you demonstrate?
The government still comes in and still carts you away to jail.
Well,
like, how do you get them back after that point? Like, what do you do?
Okay, let me just point out what you just said by your own words that says that there's still opportunity for growth and for information. You still have some growing to do. You just called them the government.
I said the fake government.
You didn't say fake. You said when the government.
Well,
that's what you said.
I'm sorry. I meant to say fake. They're fake. The imposters.
You know what that tells me? And I'm just going to be honest with you because honesty is the best policy. That tells me that, first of all, when you started speaking, and I'm not criticizing you, Empress, I'm doing this so everyone can hear. When we get into our emotions, things like that have a tendency to come out of people's mouths when they get into their feelings, instead of them pulling back their feelings and thinking about what they're going to say before they say it. That's what those seemingly traumatic incidences are all about, is to get you so uptight and fearful that you forget that you're the court. But you are the court. And if you practice, and it's not even practicing, it's actually demonstrate. When you demonstrate court actions in your everyday life, it will be like a reflex for you to do it, so that if things were to happen like that, by reflex, the first thing that'll come out of your mouth is a court action. See, we do them every time we open Congress. So that's all that comes out of our mouth is the law. Like fireworks. So we all must get to that point where we don't slip up and call them the government. We don't slip up and call them a judge. We don't slip up and call them some office that they're not. You can't even call them a garbage man because that's not the real garbage man either. They don't have no offices.
I understand that, but as far as like what recourse, I mean, as you know, what
your recourse is going to be to continue to get competent on who they are and who you are at all times. That's your recourse, is get competent on the things that, first, about what comes out of your mouth. Because I have seen Moors who demonstrate greatly, but then when it comes time for them, if they get in their feelings, they're going to start giving out offices. We don't give out offices. That's the Constitution. The Constitution says no titles of nobility are to be given. All offices are titles of nobility. That's the first place to start, Empress, is what comes out of your mouth in your most casual conversation. That's where you start. In getting, and here's the thing, in getting back, in recovering your estate. Because that's really what it's about. It's about the recovery of your estate. Your heirs are your estate. You've been dragged out and pulled out and thrown down and mishandled. The remedy is always going to be get competent on being the court so that you can rule in your own favor against that type of action. That comes first and foremost with who you are, and who you are is going to come out of your mouth even no matter what's going on. Who you really are and who they really are is going to come out of your mouth the more you practice. Not practice, the more you demonstrate. It never fails. It never fails. It's easy to listen to someone and see where their issue is, because they're going to talk and they're going to say something and you're going to know what the problem is. See, this Congress is actually really good at hearing people and saying, oh, she just called them the government. That's the problem. Because it is the problem. Not you, it's the word, it's the title, it's the office. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is knowing who you are and continuing to demonstrate that. That part must be uplifted and fixed.
Islam, if I may.
Wait, hold on, please.
Okay, sorry.
I want to make sure that she heard what I stated, and so I'm trying to make sure that, Empress, do you understand that we're not criticizing you, but that we're pointing out so that you will know, not to give the.
Oh yes, I say that all the time, Mama. I'm surprised I said what I said because I always get on, about what I speak and words. It's very important. And but it just kind of like slipped in the moment because I was trying to like ask him a question and it just came out by me brushing. But then you're right. You have to be cautious about what you speak. Words are energy, and you can manifest, things with just by your speech, by your thinking, So I get on myself all the time about trying to control.
And it's not just energy, Empress. It's not just energy. Those are commands for the universe to implement. Those are commands for the universe to implement. Action follows your words. Action follows your words. And you don't want action coming behind giving them any type of office. It's even in the Bible that you're not supposed to do that. And they know that. Not even once. We can't even slip up and, because we're God. God is perfect. So what do? We just think before we speak. That's it. Think before we speak. And we have to get used to that. And once we get used to it, it will become our first nature to just be thinking all the time.
I'm usually good at that, but like when it comes to my kids, I'm just super emotional,
And that's why they came for your children, because they knew that is the place that you have confessed is your weakness by your own words. Mm-hmm. Not by our words, because we know you're strong, but by what you just stated. They knew that because you stated that. They know how matriarchs are about the air. And so that's even more reason for us to make sure our words that come out of our mouth are what they should be when it comes to the subjects in the office of. Because that's how you are going to have to do all of your mailings, all of your court actions and everything. You must properly address them as subjects in the office of. That's why it's so important to say, listen, now, and I'll say this to all the Moors because this is where empires, in the enactment, empires rise and fall in the bedroom. Your pillow talk has to say it right. They are subjects in the office of. You got to say it, even in your most intimate conversations, because those are heard too. It's energy too. I just thought I would put that out there because we can't use emotion as a crutch to give them some type of office and power and authority that they don't have. In our most emotional and intimate moments, we must still be speaking properly and casting the right spells. Islam Empress. I apologize. Yes. I yield the floor, Empress.
Yes, the table, yes. So I would just like to add unto and all that was stated that because when I was hearing you speak, it was like you was yearning to have some type of, recourse to come back to how you was injured in that regard concerning your heirs. So the way I, know the only way is to put yourself as who you are. You're the Empress, you're their matriarch, you are their mother, you are their teacher, you are their, Southgate, because you bore them. So you have to put all that on the record. You have to state that you are, and they're not chattel, they're not property of the corporate state. They are not, anything other than your heirs, right? So when you start
protective services too.
That
I did
yes,
do that.
because mothers
I put it all on the record and everything. I saw the royalty court document that she submitted.
May I ask a question? Okay, for the purpose of your document you just stated you put on the record. Do you restate them? How do you put those records on the records?
The one that Empress Light had given to us about our royal heirs, I restated it, but I used her template.
Okay, very well.
And then I also went on
we don't really use the
in
word
the newspaper, and I also had it documented, updated on the newspaper, public record. Also went to the Secretary of State and created
there she goes
assumed name.
Empress, if I may, those that you stated are I feel your desire. I hear your desire, though the processes in which you was doing those desires was improper. Because as I stated earlier, and how this beautiful conversation has evolved, I had stated the only competent court is the Article 3, which we are, and the court records that we put out there. So we don't have to go and pay. See, when you corrupt with fiat, the process is corrupted. So by the fact that we know that in order to get something posted in any public corporate fiction newspaper, you have to give fiat. So the process that you desired to be honored was corrupted. So you have to rebut that, and by restating it. So the affidavit that you received for your legal notice has to be restated lawfully and then restated legally, de jure legally. And so, Empress Light, just as Nathan asked you, go to page 26, if you may, in this handbook. And so also that when you do these things, you have to know that you are every single office that you are speaking to. So when you say office of Secretary of State, because I say it proper, you can't say, oh, the office of the Secretary of State. It's the office, because it's the office. All offices are your offices, and you hold every single office. So practice and practice and practice of saying office of, and whatever the office is. Office of clerk,
subjects in the office of. Yes, subjects in the office of.
Well, always. I'm speaking of, because she's the office, so it's her office, so office of that. But when you're speaking to the subjects, yes, it's the subjects in the office of, or office of, and the subjects they're in, or however. But yes, and I always gonna come saying that I'm the office holder. So the other people, I don't even give them the office. I just say I'm the office, and the office, that part, and that's how I address that part. So I don't get any slip-ups. But as far as what I'm stating, to do the lien, the levy, and the bond, right? Those three processes, and there's little caveats in between those processes, like the court actions, the arrest commands for the lien, for the levy. There's a 1099 acquisition and the 1099 cancellation with the levy, and then the bond, and that's the creditor's bond, and so on and so forth. Those processes will affirm your position and put that out there that you know who you are, right? And so by doing those processes, you put the asunder those actors who enacted perpetrating the fraud. You shut their mouth. You silence them. You eradicate them.
Islam.
Thank you.
I see that you. Empress Shasha.
Yeah, I just want to add, well, not even adding, just to state that again, as we look, each one of us, all of us, at whatever level we are, we are every office, and it is our work, our study, and our understanding that will move us along and liberate us.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information coming at this time. And so just sort of affirming that as Empress Royalty Jackson L., as you move along in this with the knowledge that you are all at every office,
yeah.
And again, keep repeating that you are the office and nobody else. As you study, it will become clearer and you will extract yourself. And I just want to add in again, along with not giving titles, your heirs are your sons and daughters. We must, and I'm not saying this just to you, but it is something that absolutely irritates me. We must refrain from referring to our heirs as kids. Kids are baby goats. They are chatter. And so it's just something, again, our words, we must, even as Empress Light states, in those intimate moments, wherever, we have to eliminate that from our vocabulary when we are speaking of our heirs. We must. Because if we created them and we gave them their appellations, if we give them, that's giving them I can't even call it a title, but it's giving them, you are actually denationalizing them.
Yes.
By that moniker, that name of a different species. And so I just, it's not a personal attack, criticism, or any, because people do it all the time, and I find it it's just wrong and out of alignment. And so I know you absolutely have everything you will to do what must be done for you. And so I just wanted to there's a lot of information being flung. You have everything, and as you move along on your square with your study and research, you will absolutely free yourself.
Yeah, free yourself.
And your heirs. I yield.
I looked at what she put in the chat, Empress Royalty Jackson L. I saw what you put in the chat. Was that you that put the bond, a bond in the chat? Did you put a link to a bond in the chat, Empress Royalty? Someone did.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay. I'm looking at it, and from what I'm looking at, again, we're just sharing the same information that we shared previously about giving them titles. On that bond, it says issued for Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, when that's not who that is. She's a subject in the office of, and she's not even in the office of anymore, really, to be honest with you. We're the treasurers and secretaries for our treasury. We're already printing and issuing money and bonds and everything else. Are you familiar with the lien process, Empress Royalty?
I have it's so confusing to me because I try to, catch on with the videos that you have put up, but it's a little bit too advanced for me. So I'll search for other resources so I can try to process, because I have been just delaying it because it's I didn't really know what to do, and I don't want to do, the wrong thing.
Don't ever worry about doing the wrong thing. The only wrong thing you can do is nothing. If you do nothing, that's wrong. That's a sin, actually, to do nothing when things need to be done. However, if you're not sure what to do, then study until you know for sure. And here's the thing, Empress, we don't wait until it's perfect, until we have a complete and perfect understanding of something to demonstrate it. We demonstrate it, and then as we demonstrate, things become clearer And that's the difference between what we were taught in the last era and this era. We get a better understanding and overstanding of things as we demonstrate it, because man knows not by being told. So what we do is we study the documentation, and when we feel that in our spirit, when our spirit says, okay, go ahead and just send what you have, and then keep looking at the process. It has taken us 7 years to get here. And we're really at like six and a half years. We just crossed, we'll be crossing into 7 years here shortly, May 18th. So, you know,
So do I need to restate everything I've already seen? What I showed you guys?
Well, you showed us some things, but those things, like, for example, that bond is a corrupt bond. And I know that, and I'm not saying you're corrupt, I'm saying that the way the document is written in the language of those who enslave and steal babies. It's written in their language. And that's what I'm saying. So now it's time to switch that up. So yes, that bond needs to be restated.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't send it yet.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't either. I'm glad you didn't either. But see, Empress, you didn't send it yet because your spirit, that's all you're doing is your spirit is guiding you. You did it, but then you didn't send it yet. Your spirit is saying, just wait a minute, hold on a minute. So that you can.
Yeah.
Now, here's our suggestion as far as redemption and rebuttal and restoration and reversion of estate. Here's our suggestion. There is a video about the post office that we did. It's a 47-minute video that has lien, a levy, and the bond process in that one video, all in that one video. We suggest that...
Yes, I watched it a couple of times.
Yeah. That video is going to be as succinct, and by succinct, I mean abbreviated in terms of, not abbreviated, but more to the point, straight to the point of those processes. Because that is actually how you state that you're the creditor. Because I heard you say that you became the secured party creditor a little while ago. You've always been the secured party creditor, but that is actually not a status that someone can just give you. You must demonstrate that you're the secured party creditor by doing a competent lien. That's how you demonstrate that you're a secured party creditor. That's not something where you take a class and someone gives you a certificate or anything like that. It is by your action, your competence, that you state on the record that you're the secured party creditor. See, you don't have to get anyone's permission to do any of the things that we've done. We didn't have to wait for somebody to crown us Chief Justice. We just did the actions and behaviors and the competent demonstration. And the system agreed with us. The system agreed with us. And that is the answer to your question. Your initial question was, how do you get back when things happen like that? It is by competent demonstration, and that happens always with documentation first. Because, see, they can't come and get children. They always have paper in their hands when they come.
Yeah.
And then they send paper before they come, usually. So it's in the documentation. Therein lies the answer and the remedy. You don't need them to grant you visitation to your heirs that came out of your womb, your sovereign stargate. No. If you wait for them, it'll never happen. You demonstrate your competence there, and it's all the same, Empress. It's all the same. First, you must show that you're the creditor to the ones they're calling the authority, which is Child Protective Services, blah, 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 and all of that, Department of Health and Human Services and all of that. You slap a lien on that fraud, because you're the creditor. That is how you show that you're the creditor, is you put a competent lien on them and tell them they got to pay it. No one can deny you're the creditor when you have that documentation on the public record. So start there. And that's after you've declared your nationality and things, which I'm presuming that you have declared your nationality on the public record.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And then, and see, for you, the lien process, don't worry about levy and bond just yet. Those are advanced, processes. The lien process is going to be most important for you because you must lien, for each one of your heirs, you must place a lien, and they can all go on one lien. You must place a lien on the dead letter homonym that they've been using to take your heirs. And a dead letter homonym is, let me just show you really quickly on the screen what a dead letter homonym looks like. So this is my sovereign-born appellation that my mother gave me. But then there was a dead U.F. corporation company that created a dead letter homonym. A homonym is something is a word that it looks the same but has a different meaning because it comes from a different place. It has a different origin. This is a dead letter homonym right here. So what did we do? We did a court action on the dead letter homonym. We did a lien on it and all of that. And those court actions are on our public record at Light Tajiri Bay channel on YouTube. So Empress, for each of your heirs, you must do a lien on the dead letter homonym so that you can properly, because see, the appellations that you gave them are holy. They are true. They have meaning. But someone at the end of the delivery table decided to take the sound of those words and misuse them and create a dead letter entity.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that dead letter entity and bury that thing and put a curse on it so they can't use it. Putting the curse on it is a lien. A lien is a curse on the dead letter homonym because what it does is it says you're not the creditor, you're the debtor. And being a debtor is a curse. If you want to get back at them, you will lien anyone and anything trying to proclaim or use spellings to steal your heirs. A lien is a curse on whoever the debtor is.
And after that process, do I still have to do the copyright, common law copyright?
No. And a lot of that common law stuff is being given to you by and we appreciate that they're trying to assist you by the modern ones. We know that. You don't even have to tell us, we know it. But those are processes that have to be restated. If you restate the common law process, it's going to point you right back to what I'm telling you. What we're sharing with you, these things that we're sharing with you.
Okay.
See, even the common law actions are for commoners. You're not a commoner, you're the nobility.
Mm.
They know that. Everyone knows that.
You just said a mouthful right there.
So those processes are what commoners do. However, you're the nobility. That's why the nobility has sovereign status and processes as creditor to all the nations at earth. That happens when you first place a lien on anything and any entities pretending to govern you and your heirs. So that's why the lien process is so important, is because that's the start of stopping fake commerce. Because that's all they're doing is they're trafficking and putting amounts, like dollar amounts, debt note amounts rather, in their enactment.
my other confusion was like, when you do, do that process, who all do you send the notifications to?
The subject
on the Congress list?
No, you send it to whoever it is, whatever that office is. So let me just give you a quick example of that really quickly. Who would you send it to? Let's say that the ones that are pretending to do the action is and I'll put it on the screen the way that we would say it. It would be the Department of Child Services. So then you would notify the subjects in the office of, so whoever it is, and you would put it in blue, whoever it is that's pretending to be the CEO of Child Services or whatever, you would call them a subject. This is who they are. So let's say if their name is John Doe, then you would say, John Doe, this is to John Doe, and it would be the Child and Family Ministry. You would change it from Department of Child Services to Child and Family Ministry or something similar. And then whoever it is that was pretending to be the CEO, he is now subject to you. So you put him as the subject. And then when you put the address, 123, and I'm just using this as an example. St. Louis, Missouri. So this is how you would note that. It would be this way. This is how you speak to your offices that are subject to you. You don't call them Department of Child Services. You call them Child and Family Ministry or whatever, and the subject will be John Doe. The one that was pretending to be the CEO is subject to you, and he knows it. They know it. It's a system. It's a system of titles of master and servant, of master and slave. And if he act like a slave, he'll be treated like a slave. But if he act like a subject, he'll be treated like a subject. And really, we don't do the slave part because that's war too. And so when you do the lien, you would send it this way, but this is who you would lien. This is how the lien is done. Because you're asking who you would send it to. You would send it to your subject and let your subject know that he's not this corporation, he's a subject. Okay, so that's who you would send it to. It would almost be like sending it to the same people you're leaning, but you would change their status in the way that you send it. So you would send it to them. You would send it to who did they send to come get the heirs? If it was a fake sheriff, if it was a fake policy enforcer, you would lean and notify them too. So you notify everyone involved in the acting. Is that
when they came, I didn't get their names and badge numbers. So
you don't need them because you're not going to talk to them. You're going to speak to whoever it is that's pretending to be the chief. Okay. So all you need to know is who's at the head. You lean that one, and you say all agents, principals, heirs, assigned, and any derivatives thereof, and you'll get all the ones whose names you didn't get.
Yeah, I said that because when I seen that the post office video where you had almost like 1,000 names on there.
Oh yeah. We take the time to govern our vast estate, and that's why you're seeing what you're seeing in terms of when we put the law on the record, the subjects get on it and they get it done around here. And they're doing that at other territories too. Ask the Congress. Their territories, the subjects are yielding and doing as commanded at all the territories. You must do the same. See, I didn't need 50 more to come and help me. I just had to save myself first by making sure that everybody's in their proper status when I speak. And you're the same way. You make sure you don't call them government. They're not even child services. They're not. They're not probation officers. They're not sheriffs. None of that. They're actors. So you tell them you're subject in the office of. They know that already. And then, Empress, if I were you, I would not, and this is just a suggestion because we can't tell you what to do. Okay. Take a moment to move away from the common law actions and move to the sovereign actions. Because your heirs, they should be with you.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up?
I said your heirs should be with you. Okay. Your heirs should be with you. They should not be trafficked by others. Only you can do that. So again, who would you send it to? Now, if Empress, repeat back to me who you would send. Let's say if you did a lien on Department of Child Services, who do you think in your spirit, because there's really no wrong answer, who do you think you would send a copy of that lien to?
I would send it to, it's a couple of people that's been acting down here for that department. So instead of saying ChildNet, I would reword it and wouldn't call them ChildNet. Mm-hmm. And I would address them as subjects.
And always speak to the top. Always speak to the top. Don't speak to anybody else. You don't have to worry about the secretary.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up again? Hello?
Speaking at top. The subject in the office of CEO, the one name. And that's the one, whoever it is that pretends to be at the top. Because just like around here, they will tell everyone else to step back where your heirs are concerned. You must speak to the top because you're above the top.
Empress, you blacked out. Can you repeat, please? Because I missed it. You blacked out. Islam.
Can you all hear me? Okay.
Islam, yes, you did, Empress. You did cut out.
Okay, just one moment, because a lot of times that happens when there's lines open with no, but they're not saying anything. Just a moment. Let me just make sure. We'll fix that. Yeah, there's a couple of lines. Okay. So what I'm saying is this. Those that you notify is any actors that were previously acting as if they had something to do with that, with whatever the event is. For example, if there's actors acting as police or sheriffs that are coming to take children, you would notify the subjects in the office of, and always notify the subject in the office of the head of that place, that sheriff department, that police department, that child family services department. Always speak to the heads. You don't have to worry about leaning all the little people. You're going to speak to the head. You're going to lean the subject in the office of head, because they're not the head. We're the head and the body. You're going to lean subjects in the office of by those names. If it's John Doe, doing business as CEO, Department of Child Services, and then you would say all agents, principals, heirs assigned, and any and all derivatives thereof. This is on the liens. This is how liens are done. You lien them this way. This is who you lien. This is how your lien would look, and then you would put the address. And here's the address. Watch this, Empress. 123 travel, and they're going to use abbreviations. I noticed on the bond that you put there, Missouri is
MO.
Thank you. It's fraud either way, but okay. You're correct. That's right. So this would be the address of who you lien, because this is the fraud. This is not a real place. Mo is not a real place, Empress. That's not a real state. Any two-letter states are not real. This is not Washington. That's not real. You must spell everything out for it to be real and actually exist on a map. So Empress, do you see the difference between speaking to your subjects and speaking to the dead? This is the dead. This is what you're doing, is saying you're debtors. This is a debtor. And once you put them in debt, you become the secured party creditor. Now they're subject to you. And this is how you would speak. It's really a system that you're speaking to, a system of creditors and debtors, masters and servants. Okay? So you can see the difference now between a subject and a debtor. Do you see that, Empress Royalty? Hopefully you can see that, Empress, about the difference between who you lien and who you're actually speaking to.
I'm sorry, I had you on mute, but yes, I see it.
So when your status changes, because your status has changed, see, when we were pretending to be Negro, Black, Colored, and African American, these are the ones who were pretending to kick doors in and throw people down and, all of that stuff. That's what this is. So you lien this, these abbreviations and all of this stuff. And as we're standing and continuing to govern, this is who we're talking to now. We're talking to subject John Doe, not CEO, because he ain't no CEO. We're the chief executive officer. So that is how that process, that's the difference between when your status changes, their status changes too. Whoever you're talking to, you raise them from the dead too, so that they can serve properly. You see that, Empress?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because I know there are others out there who will to grasp that precept. It's important that we grasp it. See, we don't have to do away with the people. They just have to be in their proper status. And when they're in their proper status, everyone will get along just fine.
Yes.
They don't have to leave. They just must be in their proper status. They can't act like that. This is an actor. This is a fake, a fraud. This right here is the real, because we said it's real.
Mm.
You see?
It's the zip code for the debtor.
Oh yeah, it could be a zip code 23456. Okay. Yeah. So with that being stated, Are there any other, hopefully that sheds some light on the lien process. That's the difference with the lien process. And that is, yeah, doing a proper lien process is how you prove that you're the secured party creditor. Because the certificate doesn't prove it. The process proves it. The actions prove it. Your actions prove it. Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this great and mighty Congress?
I do have a question.
Empress Minerva and Justice Akeem.
My question is, I know you went over this a couple of sessions ago, and I've looked through my notes, I've gone through the videos, and I can't find it. For you had written out the fiduciary, if you're doing it on behalf of your matriarch and patriarch, and I was wondering if you could help me out and go over that, because I just can't find it.
Okay. The fiduciary document is what you're referring to? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, you had written out, it was almost like a statement, and you had written it in
ancient English?
Not English, but you had written it in, I'm trying to go through the, just like you had showed it earlier, in
company English?
Not company English, but the name that you control.
Okay, so the fiduciary for, let's say, Pauline Denise Ritchie.
Yeah.
Okay, that is this document that's on the screen right now, the fiduciary document. We are the Empire State of Morocco. We are the fiduciaries for the United States. Our United States is a special purpose financial vehicle that we created on the land at ancient Morocco. And it was someone did a dead letter homonym act and pretended to be the United States by incorporating. So this is the document. It starts out, Islam Empress.
It's not showing.
I apologize. Thank you, Empress. Is it showing now?
Yes, it is.
Islam.
Okay. This is our fiduciary document. Now, all we did was started out with court action language because it is not just an affidavit, it is a quo warranto mandamus restitutio. In Latin, quo warranto what quo warranto does is it issues a warrant from the Treasury that says that we have the authority and no one else does. That's what quo warranto is about. The Treasury, with every document that comes out, the Treasury issues a warrant for it. If a birth certificate was created in the last enactment, that was actually not just a birth certificate, it was a warrant. It was a warrant of ownership, quote unquote, that could be seized, and the property created by it could be seized at any time. That's why they were enacting taking heirs. Just by virtue of issuing a birth certificate by the frauds, because it's not just a certificate, it's a warrant for arrest. And at birth, there were 3 of them enacted by the dead ones. One was a warrant for a birth certificate warrant. The other was a Social Security warrant. And the third one was a baptismal or Christian, not Christian. It's a warrant to put the baby out to sea. So the story of Moses being put in the river when he was a baby and sent down the river, that's actually a story of someone wanting to issue a document for him stating that he is to be sold or sailed. Okay, those are warrants. And that means that anybody can pick them up. Whoever issued the warrant can take because they've claimed it as property. So, quo warranto, mandamus. A mandamus is like the Ten Commandments. It is a mandate. It is a command without the co. Co means that there are two parties. A mandamus means that the Lord is issuing the command by him or her sovereign selves. That's what a mandamus is. A restitutio means that not arrested, but restored. Restitution is when someone has done something wrong and then they pay to make it right. That's restitution. Okay. So we started out with court action language, all rise and stand like we do with Congress. And then we start talking about being the fiduciaries for all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. Specifically, all the letters, all fonts, all colors, monochrome, and otherwise. All contracts, all agreements, treaties, constitutions, and other documents, regardless of the resulting sensation that the eye manifests. In other words, it doesn't matter what color it's written in, we're the fiduciaries for it. And so what we did was defined a few things that we do. And then we put here all the letters. This is what you're talking about, Empress. And this document must be done for you, for each one of your heirs. You can list them all on one. It says that you are the fiduciary for all instruments, all nombres, which is a name in Spanish or Latin, nombre, all letters, including in capitis diminutio nolo, in capitis diminutio minima, media, and maxima, which just means all letters in all lowercase letters, or the first letter capitalized, or the second letter capitalized, or all the letters capitalized. It doesn't matter. You're the fiduciary for them, because that's where the trick.
That was the part that I was trying to say that I couldn't get out. Islam.
Yes, this is the part right here where, you know, it doesn't. All you're saying is we don't care what it sounds like. We don't care what it looks like. We govern it. No one else does. And if any documentation is written by someone else, you must restate and rebut it by restating. So if they send a warrant, you're supposed to restate that warrant and send it back as notification that they sent the warrant for the wrong one, that you are the head, and then you send a warrant for them. And this is not tit for tat or war. What it is, again, you prove that you're the creditor, you prove that you're the law by your work, by what you do. See, no one cares what anyone was saying because people were using fiat and they were, you know, just using the wrong lettering. They were under the capitalism of frauds and all of that in the enactment. Okay, so they didn't care what was being said. That's why people would say things, I'm a more, and they you know, messing, just, you know, still violating, because this part must be understood in your spirit. You must know in your spirit these things. And before they come like that, they always send paper. You must send paper in rebuttal before they come so that they won't come. See, they cannot come to a place that they don't know about. They do not know this mailing location because it's not their address, it's my address. I created it. By lien, levy, and bond this place. So here it is, zeros, all the numbers and all integers, and in between all numbers or all names in any sequence, it doesn't matter, in all ink colors, monochromes, styles, fonts beyond infinity. And then we just listed all of these because these are modern, this is a modern alphabet until we state otherwise. And all punctuation in all dialects and languages. And we spell the word language land gauge. A gauge is a measurement, and we're just measuring the land by our letters and numbers and stating where we are. We know where we are. We're not under psychosis and psychological operations. We know where we are. We're not lost. And then I just began to state, and I use the word state for a reason, because all of this is state property. All of this is state property. What state? Our state. In Job, the 32nd chapter, verses 21 and 22, it says, we do not accept any man's person. And then we restated the Bible verse because it was mistaken and written erroneously. It says, neither do we give flattering titles unto man, for we know not to give flattering titles. Therefore, the maker of false titles is hereby bound and cast into the sea for eternity, never to rise again. That's a spell we're casting. Yes, we changed the verse. Federal Rules for Civil Procedure, Title 4, Rules 17 and 18. And we use civil procedure here because we're now talking about a minor. This is a minor. Pauline Denise Ritchie in all capital letters, that's a minor who cannot speak for herself. I am the fiduciary for that minor. I do the speaking for her. Pauline, I speak for all of these. All of these. Rule 17, plaintiff and defendant. Where minors or incompetent natural person is, with a presentative, the following presenters may sue or defend on behalf of a minor or an incompetent natural person: a general guardian, a committee, a conservator, or a like fiduciary. A like fiduciary, if you're like someone, and this is where Facebook got everybody just denationalizing themselves. When you click like, that means that you're claiming the nature of whatever you clicked on. A like fiduciary means that the fiduciary and the minor have the same nature. They're both natural or they're both fake. In our cases, they're both natural. So that's what this fiduciary document says, and it has all of our stamps and seals and things at the bottom. It also has here, just like we stated earlier, accepted, recorded, and filed at the Justice's Mailroom, King County Superior Court, August the 3rd, that's 2023 at 3:33. Recorded and filed at Thurston County Superior Court. Accepted, recorded, and filed at Pierce County Clerk's Office by, and I usually just autograph here in blue. I'm the D put E. D put E. They say deputy, but it's that word is really, in etymologically, that means that positions have changed. One has been put into the position and someone else has been moved out of it. Okay, that's what that word is all about. Accepted, recorded, and filed, Kitsap County Superior Court, Snohomish County Commissioner, Calcasieu Parish County Court, District for Columbia Notary. And again, when we do our document, we put the date. We autograph as the individual proclaiming the statement. We also autograph as the notary, the public notary for the District for Columbia. My commission is self-validating. Next validation action is 2033, August 3rd. It doesn't expire. We just keep revalidating ourselves. And then we have the Treasury seal. We have the seal for the currency controller, and some would call it the Office of the Comptroller of Currency. That's what the actors were acting as. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And then this is the ancient Annuit Coeptis seal for the indigenous people who we are. And then this is our gold seal. And then this is the compass and the square in terms of our Masonic information, our mother and son knowledge, our degrees. And we usually put a red G in here, a red lowercase g in here. You could also put a blue uppercase G in here, and it would still be valid. So, Empress Minerva, hopefully that assists where this document is concerned. That assists you with your question. I know it was a little bit lengthy, but we feel it's important to be purposefully and helpfully redundant in stating what we're doing, so that we all continue to be clear together.
Islam. And it's also helping doing the 40 documents, because everything just seems like the pieces are now, in my mind, fitting together, and my overstanding and understanding of everything.
Yes, thank you for stating that, Empress. It is a curriculum. We have such high status and such high standing beyond just our nationality. Our nationality is very powerful, but there's so much more above it. There are so many degrees above our nationality because of our nationality. So they all go together. Justice Hakeem.
Okay. Now you could tell by my appellation, I'm an Aboriginal more, right?
Islam.
Now because of that, now I've been this prior before meeting you and everything. Now because of that, on all my documents it say American Indian on all my stuff. So what position does that have? I'm surprised no one ever asked you that since I've been here.
Well, when we hear our Grand Sheikh Taj talk about Indians are from India. But here's the thing. Moors govern Indians from India, and they're aware of that. They were holding some of our information. So here's what we say about that. If that is your identity that you feel comfortable with, you're sovereign. We cannot tell you what to do, and we can't tell you not to call yourself an Indian. We don't use the term because we know Indians are from India. That's why we don't say that we are American Indians. In reality,
No. I'm familiar with that, right? But on your documents, right, you can't put Aboriginal. So the closest thing would have been Indian. That's why I said that's the only reason why I said American Indian. That's the closest thing you could have put.
Okay.
And a lot of the older Moorish teachings, they was taught interchangeable.
Okay. So tell me what you think about Aboriginal that makes you say you can't put it on your document.
Well, let me not say you can't put it on there. It just seemed to be more correct to have American Indian on it at the time.
At the time?
You know.
So,
yeah.
The fact that you're asking says that it bears looking at for you. That you should look at it. And if you feel led to restate your documents as Al-Moroccan or Moorish American or Al-Moroccan Moorish American, then do so, or more, then do so. If you're not led to do it, then your spirit will tell you otherwise. Here's what we know about the reason they did that based on what you just told us. You said that they said you can't put Aboriginal on your documents, that you have to use American Indian. So they
didn't say. I didn't ask them though, right? But I saw that already there, so I'm like, well, that makes more sense because that's the closest that I saw. That's really what it was.
The closest that you saw where?
To Aboriginal. When I on the census and everything, it say American Indian on all my stuff, not just online.
I'll just ask you then, has that helped you?
Yes, I can say it helped me. Yes.
Okay. Let me say this about the reason why you chose that, because I'm still not clear on why. I think what I'm hearing you say is that when you looked at U.S. system, quote unquote, you saw some things there and you picked from what you saw there. Is that correct?
Right, based upon the teachings that I already had.
Okay. So the thing about your reasoning based on the teachings that you already had. Here's what we know about all of that, is that this is a grand rising. We're not saying that what you received was wrong, but what we are saying is when you know better, you do better no matter what it is. So there were some things that we were doing previously that our ancestors said, okay, now that you've gotten to this point of understanding and overstanding, change this to this and do this and move this way, do this that way, and so on and so forth. So we're not saying that what you were taught was wrong. What we are saying, though, is if you're questioning it, that means you should look at it. Because if you were really 100% sure with it, the reason people don't ask is because they already know what we state about who we are. We know that we were the first Indians over at India. The Moors were the first Indians over there. And then there were others who came afterwards who called themselves Indians as well, but they were calling themselves Indian in a capitalist system that we did not create. And that's the only reason anyone called themselves American or Moorish subject, ipso jure, or any of that, is because of the system they were in. We have the correct system now because we've created it. And so in our system, we know that there are no treaties that say American Indian that refer to the Moors and how we do things on the land. Do you know of any treaties that say American Indians that give you the information to use to continue to have dominion over the land? Do you know of any treaties that say that?
No, no. To my understanding, it was a place name just like any other name. They were just naming people, and I was one of them.
Okay. So do you feel that that's a good reason to call yourself that?
With the way I see it, an Aboriginal that's the by today's standards, that's the same thing. They can go interchangeable, let me say that. But every time you say Aboriginal, somebody can easily say that, okay, it's identifiable as an Indian also. That's how I see it. So I don't really necessarily see it as of just a name put on me as the way that a lot of people would say it. I don't see it. I really don't see it that way. And the way I came in and, my location or whatever, it made sense within the teachings.
Okay. So if it makes sense to you, then that is who you are.
Oh, no, I know that's who I am. I wasn't trying to change it. I just wanted to know what you would, I want to know I never heard nobody say nothing to you about it. So I'm like, well, let me ask about it. Just see her opinion.
You are who you say that you are. As long as you're not running around talking about you black and you're proud, we good.
That definitely ain't finna happen.
So now with the term Aboriginal, and let's just put this on because we've talked about this before as well. In the previous era, many were taught.
And a lot of people, as soon as they see that Bay L on there, they already know that. So it's used, but some people new to this and they don't know. So I thought it was necessary to say this.
I appreciate that because I know that you're not the only one who has that energy circulating in your ethers, and any energy circulating in the higher ethers is worth looking at. So the word Aboriginal, let me just give a brief explanation of that word. When these words are smushed, because this is actually two words, it's really 3 or 4 or 5 words if you break it down etymologically, but for the sake of our conversation here, this word here, when it's pushed together like this, it means not original. But that's because the language of the word ab is changed from Latin or Spanish to incompetent English, really, because this is not a word in English, in corporate English. It's not a word. It doesn't exist in corporate English. It only exists as 2 words in Latin. In Latin, ab space original means from the original or of the original. And that is where the distinction is made. So some people say they're aboriginal. I just think in my mind, knowing that they're Moors, that they mean from the original. We say we're the original indigenous Moors. We don't say aboriginal, but that's something that the ancestors said for us to say from the beginning, because we know our bloodline has not changed since time immemorial to now. We are the originals, period. We're not just from the originals. We're
and I don't get caught up on little word differences or whatnot. I just want to address this for all the Moors that watch. You know what I'm saying? To watch the sharing, because that's a hot button topic right now. And I'm like, man, somebody got to say it.
Yeah. Well, the sovereigns are sovereign when they're in their own, when they are demonstrating their own system. Here's the thing, nobility. It doesn't matter what you call yourself if you're still under a dead system. So come out of the, and we know you're out of it, but for the sake of those listening, there are many Moors who called themselves Moors. They knew they were Moors, went into a fake court and called somebody in a fake court a judge and got thrown in jail. Why? Because that's not their system, and whoever they were talking to is not a judge because they're the judge. So that's why we say come out of that system. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, as long as you do it by your own sovereign authority and not letting someone else tag you. Because you can call yourself an original indigenous sovereign, but if you're in a dead system, they're going to dog you out and treat you like trash until you realize that that's not in their system. Everything in their system is dead. It's not even a system. It's death and debt. So we honor the statements and affirmations of all Moors who Aboriginal, original, if you call yourself American Indian and you will to, and that's who you say that you are, we cannot argue with you about who you say you are. We cannot do that. All we can do is state why we say we are who we are, because we can speak for ourselves. We can't speak for you. So, and then we have to honor what you say about you. Our admonition to you will be, look at the treaties and see which treaty you can restate so that those Moors who call themselves American Indians can get some remedy and some relief. Because really, it's about the systems. It's about the systems. And, there are some Moors who are called to lead those who are called Indians because they can't lead themselves. So maybe that's why there are some Moors who are called to lead Hebrew Israelites, because those doing business as Israelis need a leader. They need kings. And all Moors are the kings and empresses and queens and all of that. We're all of that for everyone. So, we honor what everyone calls themselves because we can't argue with that. We can state who we are and why we state that. We know the treaty says Moors. We also know we have the authority to restate all documents. So we would encourage you to restate the documents accordingly. We're just glad you're here and that you're awake. And for those who are asking, if you feel that, if it's something that keeps tugging on your spirit, keep looking at it. Keep looking at it. Don't ignore your own spirit, because your spirit is always going to be your first authority. Okay? Those who aren't from India may be a little confused when you say that you're American Indian, because they're going to be like, but wait a minute, we're the Indians, and you're obviously the nobility. Obviously, you're the nobility. And Indians don't have the same authority and power as the nobility. So that's something for you all to just consider. We can't tell you what to do, and we can't argue about who you say you are, but we can point to the word, and we can point to the law, and say, hey, just take a look at this. You know, we're all one. We know that. So I appreciate you bringing that forth, because it's important that those distinctions be made. This word ab in Latin and Spanish means something different than when you push it together and then lower the English and lower the frequency of the word and corporatize the word. It's totally different from two words that stand sovereign by themselves and then together. Islam. Holy God assist nobility. Islam. Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this sovereign, amazing Congress, all-powerful, all-knowing, all God, Islam?
Yes. I just wanted to ask, because I did my proclamation of trust, and I would like to just for appropriation reasons, I would like to know if anybody has a trust template, because I did some study on trust, and it's a little bit, I don't know, just I just want to be consistent and make sure that my information is appropriate. So if anybody had a trust template, I would appreciate it.
Have you had an opportunity to look at some of the links that are under the videos that we do?
Yes, I've been through your video. I've been through your channel and looked through things.
Okay.
I don't think that's what it was too, because I was like, I didn't see a trust template. From what I view the videos that I was on and stuff. So I figured I'd just ask somebody.
Yeah. We do have some trust documents there. I don't think they're templates. I think they're actual trusts that we put on the public record. But if anyone has one, and there's a question in the chat separately from this issue about treaties, and someone put a link to a treaty and asked if there's a treaty about Indians and things of that nature. No treaty, hear me when I say this, because we stated this before, any treaty that you see out there on the public record, if it was not written and signed by us, it's not valid. And when I say us, I mean any Moors anywhere at earth. That's what I mean. If it's not written and signed by the Moors at earth, it is not valid. The black and white documents that you see out there are just drafts and examples. And if you look at them, none of them have really signatures on them, really.
You have to restate all of them.
They all have to be restated. The words have to be edited properly. It has to be elevated up to competence and all of that, because they're all incompetently written. Any treaty that's written as a war document is incompetent. Because why would you call it a peace treaty and then talk about war? That's incompetent. So I have 4 big books with every treaty, and they're all incompetent. And I thought to myself, I see why in ancient Rome most of the population were scribes. They were just busy writing stuff, writing. That's how Rome got to be so powerful, and that's how Babylon got to be what Babylon was said to be, because they wrote everything. They rewrote everything. So, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom? We didn't really get to talk about our dinner as much. This was really almost just a regular conference. So I have something really quickly that I would like to discuss with the Congress briefly. I thought about myself taking a little bit of time away for a few weeks to breathe and to I guess it would kind of be like a spring break until May the 2nd. That's what was in my ethers before the Congress, but it's only been on my mind for 2 days, so I don't know if that's from our perspective, that could just be something that I need to set aside. But I do feel it's necessary to at least just tell you that I'm thinking about taking a few weeks break, which is not something we do often. But I'm always hesitant. Islam is.
I affirm because, you've been running a long time. And everybody needs to refresh and regroup. And first you need to take a little breath before you get back to that, getting things back in order. So I don't like the idea, but I think it's necessary. And I affirm Islam.
Yeah, and I also thought about the last 2 or 3 Congresses. It's been brought up at least one time about how people are, how we're catching up on the 40-something documents and things of that nature as well. That was actually one, my main reason for mentioning it. Besides the fact that I would like some time away from
That's me.
Travis back. I affirm, and I also have got my 40 documents together. I'm about to publish them, put them on the record.
We know it's a lot, but this estate must be governed. It must be, and we're doing it. It's just putting everything on the public record. And here's the thing, as long as we give a date that we're going to reconvene, then we're in order. The actors used to take 3 months in the summer off from acting like they were pretending to be Congress. I'm just, for us, it's just probably until May the 2nd. Until May the 2nd, right before Cinco de Mayo. But it's also going to be during this time of the solar eclipse and all of that. So it's going to be a very powerful time to demonstrate who we are and to catch up on demonstrations and documentations and things. For us, we're going to just breathe. We may do a few documents over this time period until May the 2nd. But at this point, we're just going to take a deep breath in and exhale and breathe in and out and repeatedly just breathe, So thank you for the affirming that. For those who affirmed it, are there any nays to coming back on May the 2nd? Today is the 21st, March 21st. So we would take the entire month of April to just breathe and to catch up on things and to, this Congress works. This Congress has been working. Years working. Islam.
My printer is printing because I'm still working Islam. Would we start today until April the 2nd, or is that going to be the following Congress that we like Sunday, and then from Sunday on?
We will start today.
All right. Well, yeah. LOL, guys. Faces.
Yeah.
Surprise! Happy New Year. See you in 4 weeks.
The ancestors. I was gonna say until April 21st, but I keep feeling May 2nd. So apparently there's something that is happening. I know with me there's some things happening in terms of the ancestors are changing my appetite, and things are happening there. And usually when they do that, usually when they change my appetite, there's some information that's coming, you know. So May the 2nd, we would come back and reconvene May the 2nd.
Islam.
This
is Narashe Basin territory. Happy New Year, and we definitely affirm you get you some rest.
Thank you. You know what? I know this too about the 40-something documents. As many of us that get those 40-something documents on the public record, then the whole earth already knows who the Supreme Council is, who's the currency controllers, who's all of that those positions are secured. See, they're secured now because we're here. We're just putting on the public record to further secure for the sake of the public record, because the public record is a system. And those things must be done in the system, systemically, stated in the system. Islam.
Michael Jamal McGee Bay, I affirm.
Thank you, nobility. You all, I'm just breathing a sigh of relief because I have approval. Thank you. And that's for all of us as well. We all will rest and just breathe. Islam, Justice Kansu.
What you just suggested about taking the time off, where you've been doing so much work for all of us, and I do agree with you taking the time off so that when you come back fresh again. So do take the time off, and it's also time for us as well. So
yeah,
you take the time off.
Thank you so much, Noble Kansu. Thank you so much. This is what I'm feeling too. What I'm feeling is that we'll take this time. I'm feeling travel coming. I'm feeling travel coming. I'm feeling us coming together and seeing each other face to face. I'm feeling a lot of that coming over the next few months and weeks. I'm feeling that coming. It feels like a rhinoceros heading our way at 80 miles per hour. That's what it feels like to me, is lots of amazing and beautiful travel for all the right reasons and not the wrong reasons. That's what I'm feeling, is gatherings, is us coming together, gathering. Yeah. So, okay, we will. Do you know how hard it is to be away from you all?
Islam, that's what I'm feeling like I don't want to affirm, but I don't want to deny either. I just want to be like, okay, I'll be peaceful and be quiet.
Now you know how I feel. I'm always just because I just love when we get together.
Right.
Twice
That's
a
right.
week.
I look forward to it. Like, I'm not to say I'm addicted to the Congress, but then again, I am. For the right reasons. Like, I look forward to, it's like a clock that I set my life to. Like, Thursday, get out of my way. 7 p.m. Sunday, get out of my way. 6 p.m.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult to pull away from you. Very difficult to do so. But sometimes we know we have to do it so that we can keep moving and stay fresh and keep going.
thinking about all the things that's going to be transpiring while we're on our, hiatus, holiday, as it were. Like the fiduciary money will be still rocking and rolling, and
the eclipse.
That part too, right? And
there's a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right, and then so like everything that's happening here at New York territory, right, is just looking at the articles that is coming out. Like there was articles stating that somebody had so-called quote unquote squatted in a place, and the so-called pretend owner, changed the locks and then went into the so-called venue, and it was ruled in the favor of the acting squatter that they were right to the property. And I'm just like, well, Islam.
A lot is changing. That's just signaling. That's signaling that it'll be time for us to prepare to go ahead and proclaim and claim the properties properly. See, what they're saying right now is that the old system doesn't work anymore. That's what they're saying when things like that happen in the news. And I know that we have the system.
Yes, Islam.
And so.
And pardon, if I may, and also in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, it was talking about money for appropriations, and we had talked about that at length concerning appropriations. And when you do claim a property or anything of that matter, it must be public. So when you restate anything, and let's say you desired a big building that was once inhabited by an actor, you have to do the processes competently, and then do a proper receipt transaction, and also declaring it a public property on the record. And that was also affirmed in this Office of Sheriff Manual. So that's also what I desire to state as well. And so, yes, also to Empress, the Empress Royalty, I was looking at your documents that you have posted. I had stated in the comment that it's suggested and that you restate it, because they have language in there that states the name of a person, and then the office and the enactment of Secretary of State, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of sophisticated language in the documents that you have, even from I think it was a temple that you got some of those documents done from. So I would just highly recommend restating those for the purpose of removing the fraud. Yeah, it's page 10 on the one of the scribe that you have, and it says CC, which is a carbon copy, Cord Bird, Florida State Secretary, Florida Secretary of State, which is what we've already stated is not competent. And then it has Anthony Blinken, I think that's how you say his name, United States Secretary of State, which is also, so, and that's just one page that I just looked at. So, this is a document of all these pages, would definitely have to be restated for competent jurisdiction. And yeah, the office, you have one from Office of Minnesota Secretary of State, Certificate of Assumed Name. You have to restate that because you're the office for Secretary of Ministry. So that has to be restated. Yeah. And don't worry about the seal and things, because when you get the seal embosser that Empress Light has under the older videos, is an image that is the Great Seal. Actually, Empress Light's image that she has on her, as you look at her picture, and she has one with the camera open and the other one with the camera closed. That's the image that we use for the Great Seal. So if you got that image and made it into an embosser, you can emboss your own documents, and you don't have to go anywhere outside of yourself to get your documents embossed, because we are all the author and the finisher of our faith and the authority thereof. So you wouldn't want to do any fiat exchanges for these either. You would you know, either look to exchange gold or silver or dolorium. Islam. Yeah. So the ancestors honor your desire and your willingness to, you know, properly state things for the record.
I really do appreciate you guys. That's why I asked if we could still have like a smaller meeting while we're on holiday, because I'm still trying to learn and I want to get it, you know, I want to do everything the proper way.
Yeah. Well, Empress Light has stated, you know, and she's here again to state this as well, that during these times of breaks, it's, you know, also suggested that those who are new take the time to look at the previous recorded videos, and you know, if you're seeking something, you know, close your eyes and scroll, and then the video you come across will probably be the one you most likely need and desire, rather, to have speak to you concerning whatever it is your situation is. So, yes, we all have gone through that, and we, like, I myself especially, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this was said, and I'll just start scrolling, and I'm like, I think it's this one, and I start looking through it, and the transcripts. If you look through the transcripts, that can help you, you know, like, expedite your search in what it is you're looking. Because if you know it's a keyword and this keyword is in this transcript, most likely the content is there as well. So
thank you for that, because I be trying to find such specific things, and she has so many videos. I got to be here somewhere. I could be like, oh my goodness, so many. But I thank you for giving me that tip. I'm gonna try it that way now.
Yes, yes, indeed. You're welcome.
Thank you, Empress Angel. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think this will give us the opportunity to just get you know, take the time to just look at what we've done already. We've done so much. This Congress is a working Congress. I mean working Congress. And it's important that we take a moment and just, you know, breathe. And I know what's coming. I can feel it. I can feel what's coming. Everything that we put on the public record is manifested and manifesting. Everything. And so we're just continuing to prepare and to accept the estate. It's already started, majorly already started, the acceptance of our vast estate. So with that being stated, thank you for having dinner with me.
Islam, what did you have for, if I may ask?
I have bean soup, which I love, and I have a salad. My salad, I threw everything in the salad but the kitchen sink. I got some and also I had some cloves, this is my first time making and having clove tea. I had so many cloves in my spice cabinet that I said I have to find some recipe or something, and I was literally looking for a different type of tea to add to my pine tree tea, and I discovered clove tea, and it's really good. It's really good. So I made some clove tea. I put some a little bit of cranberry in there as well as banana. So it looks kind of like a mix between a fruit tea and a smoothie. It's a mix between those two.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta try that one day.
Yeah.
Well, I myself, for the first time made hearts of palm fish, and it came out really. Yes, indeed. You use the seaweed to give it the sea flavor, the fish flavor, and you take the hearts of palm and you like take a fork and you like, cause the outer skin is like a little bit tough, and the inner side is more soft, like a what is it called? The other, what is it? It looks like a pine cone, but it's an artichoke. The artichoke. It's like the artichoke in some regards for the meat texture. But yes, and so, you season it. I let it sit in the refrigerator for a few hours and marinate. And then you take rice paper and you put it in a rice paper and you double it up and you make your wet batter, and you put breadcrumbs after you do the wet batter, and then you just fry it up. And just as Nathan, who is not much of a vegetarian, he enjoyed it. He said it tastes like fish. So yes.
I eat meat too sometimes. So, especially salmon. Salmon is my favorite fish to eat. So, but I get it. I did, for my salad, I went out into the yard and I pulled some, this is cherry blossom season where they blossom first before the cherries start, being produced on the tree. And cherry blossoms make a great salad. Cherry blossoms, onions, celery, strawberries, what else? Cucumbers and things like that. I threw.
So are cherry blossoms like pomegranate almost? The seeds in the pomegranate? Oh, so what do they look like?
They are little white flowers.
Oh, this edible flowers. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're little white flowers, and they have seeds. The seeds throughout the flower. I don't know if you can see that right there.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know those were edible.
You know what? Let me tell you, just about every tree out there is edible on our land. We've been told that it's not edible, but it is. Most of the trees out there are edible.
Wow, that is great knowledge.
They're healing for us.
Okay, yes.
So I just started going right outside, and if I don't feel like going to get lettuce from someplace, which I wasn't going to do anyway, I just go out there and pull from whatever is out there, put it in a salad and eat it.
Wow.
That's beautiful. I do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Empress Shasha, what did you cook today?
Well, actually, which is my favorite, I cooked gunga pea soup or sip.
Yeah.
So I cooked the gunga peas, and then I cooked that down in coconut milk. So the dry coconut, I bust that and blend that down, and then add a little bit of salt. Now, typically I don't use salt, but I've been making my own, thanks to you.
Ah, beautiful.
I do, and then Scotch bonnet peppers and ginger.
Ooh, Empress, I can't wait to taste your cooking because this just sounds amazing. Stuff that I don't even know what a gunga pea is. That's why I can't wait to taste because I know it's good.
For gunga peas, I think another name is cowpea actually.
Okay.
But it's like, I actually don't eat meat, but it seriously has that taste, or not, but it
the
has
texture,
consistency, and you can it has that the constituent of it is just so powerful. So that becomes the base, and I blend up the coconut milk, and then blend up pumpkin, and then orange pumpkin. The three you've heard that our food. Is the three sisters, corn.
Yes.
And beans. So I didn't have corn in there, but then I blend that down with the pepper and pimento, which another name for the pimento is allspice. And these all come, these are local. And then yam, so yellow yam. Chop that up, and then cocoa, which is another ground provision. They call it, so for instance, in Hawaii, they would call that taro.
Oh.
Yeah, and it has that pinkish, this is, so that really is it. And then, my seasoning and ginger, I put ginger in there. I'll go down the garden and get some lemongrass. I didn't get the lemongrass today, and that's really my pot of food, my one pot, and it is just very filling, very healing. I put thyme in there also, and scallion.
Yeah.
And that was my meal this evening that I did sit here and nibble on during Congressional. Yeah, so I'm just, I shall miss you. I shall miss everyone. I shall miss this gathering, but I know that this is an important time, and rest is important. We have to recalibrate. We have to, but this is just so delightful, and I'm so glad, and I'm Happy New Year again.
Indeed.
The beginning, continuation of magnificent, fantabulous abundance and everything.
Yes, indeed.
I yield.
Something in me says, and I know this to be true, that the veil, we've crossed over. We've crossed over. The veil between the ancient dimension and this dimension and the future, that veil is open, and the windows are open, and the veil is open. I feel that and know that. This next 30 days, even 30, 45 days, is going to be just, we're going to see the unfolding and the opening of our estate even more so.
I affirm. Yes. It's in the air. It's in the ethers. It's.
Yeah, I can feel it. We know that we've been moving at a very fast or brisk pace in terms of what we're doing. So, and we do want to honor the time of this Congress. We want to honor your time, and to all just, breathe and then come back together. So, with that being stated, I will miss you for this next until May the 2nd, but we'll put something up, an announcement up on YouTube that we will adjourn until May the 2nd. And that way, I didn't want to put anything up without speaking to the Congress and hearing what you have to say. Please take the time to go over the previous videos. I'm also doing the same thing, going over the previous videos, looking back over things, and if there are any documents that we will to write and things of that nature, we'll catch up on some of that too. So with that being stated, I love you very much. I love you. I love you. I love you. And peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs, Islam.
Peace and grand rising. Peace and grand rising.
Moors.
Happy New Year, Moors.
New Year.
Bring old ones. Much gratitude. Fire tradition. Love you all. Love you all.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, boy. Islam.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the Lord. Happy New Year.
Islam.
Good evening. Good evening.
A toast to the heirs, Islam.
A toast to the heirs. Happy New Year.
Salute.
Indeed. Islam.
Islam.
Miss
I
you
have
too. Islam.
I have bongo pins too. Thank you.
Indeed.